Hello, hello, everyone. I think it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I never know what it is with everybody, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Make sure you like all this stuff. Wow, why am I being shouted at? Mel, what have I done? What are you shouting at me for? Um, right, as you can see, this is not Matt. He looks a bit like Matt, I suppose, but clean cut. Shorter
Clean
hair,
cut. Yeah.
clean
I
cut.
don't look
Uh,
nothing like Matt.
Well, I think he's better looking than Matt, and he's more intelligent than Matt. And talking about Matt, he's here. Here he is. How you doing, mate?
Hello.
You all right?
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you
Yeah,
just fine, man.
Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah.
Dylan, what's up, man? It's my
yeah. Happy
brother.
New Year.
He's got a
Yeah,
story to tell.
good. We're here for it. We're
So we
here
got
for it.
we got
Um,
Wales, we got Florida, we got Vegas. Look at this. This is amazing.
we do.
Isn't
We
it?
got chat from everywhere as well. You saw that from Sandra, didn't you? So
Where's Mighty Meat? Where is he from? He's from like
Detroit.
Michigan or something. Detroit. So he's
Yeah,
Central
Detroit.
Time, all sorts of different time zones.
Yeah, and we've got Dr. Hines. He's from London,
Heinz
Luton, London.
is from England.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Christine. Just jurors. Where's everyone? Mel got very impatient, started shouting at me. Where the f are you? I knew. I know you did. Yes. Yeah, you went. You went to New York, Matt, over Christmas. Did that go okay, Matt? Oh no, you not hear me, Matt.
What? I hear you. What? You talking to me
I
again?
How
say
was New
you
York?
said how was New York? Yeah.
I didn't go to New York. I stayed right here in Vegas.
Oh
Everybody thought you went to New York last week.
I don't know why. I
I
didn't go
even
anywhere.
texted you. I was like, "Where are you?"
No, I stayed. I spent a nice quiet Christmas right here in Sin City. With a good friend who she doesn't have any family either, and her friend doesn't. So there's people in Vegas, because we're all from somewhere else. So there's a lot of people out
yeah.
here without family. So a lot of times we
Ah,
spend
good.
the people without families get together and spend time with each other because they don't want, you know, that's how that
Yeah.
goes.
Happy days.
It's just Vegas, it's just the Vegas life. A lot of people work. Imagine that. The casinos are open 24 hours.
Yeah. Right.
They never close. You have to work on Christmas. You got to work on it, and people come here to party. They want to
Mm-hmm.
party on Christmas morning. So
No,
we're
that's
here
fair.
to oblige them.
Um, no, that's fair. We'll give it a few more minutes, but we are already started. We've got some interesting stories today, haven't we? We've got some interesting stories from
Well,
both Paul and you.
Paul, he was a big part of my story,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if
We'll
when
get
if
into it.
people are following this, he's in the book. He was there Friday. I called him on Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, and he got on a plane as soon as he could, and he got out and he helped me
Yeah,
search for Emily for 11 days, I believe it was, and we
Yeah.
searched until we dropped.
Tuesday, I talked to you, and by Wednesday afternoon, I decided it was time to come up because they were already screaming at you, calling you a murderer.
Well, did you? I don't. I that did you talk to me before
Yeah.
they accused me of murder before Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, yeah. I thought I think maybe I was Art that I talked to after. The first time I talked to Art, I told him, and he's like,
I
"Oh,
talked to
geez."
you Wednesday night though, and we decided you needed real help. You, you
Bring
needed
some
somebody
muscle in.
there. Yeah, because it was insane. By by Wednesday, 2 days after all this went down, they were screaming at you that you're a murderer. So it was ridiculous.
Yeah, just tell and I've been accused by Grubbs to this day.
Yeah.
Did I tell you, Paul, that I talked to his wife? his ex-wife
Yeah,
now
nah,
yesterday.
yeah.
She called me 2 days ago, or we talked to each other 2 days ago. Well, I'll wait. Are we on live now, Dylan? Or
No, right, we are, but
whoa.
let's wait. Let's wait a
All
second
right, yeah, let's
because
wait.
we'll get into all this. Because I'll tell you why. Because let's give it a couple more minutes. There are a few more people coming, and then we'll
Right.
go into it. We can
I
explain
like how you
everything.
say hi to everybody too, Dylan. You
Yeah, I
say hi
tried
to.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tried to, and then because well, one of the hoes, Erin Hack, she's here. I've not seen Erin
The
for
hose,
ages.
Dylan's hose.
Yeah, she never comes in except for when you Matt's here. So she's ignoring me. But Matt's here, she comes in. Um, Hello, Matt and Paul. Hello, just you. She's for Lou. You know Lou. Just
Lou,
Jura's.
there's Lou. Yeah, she's a psychiatrist of
She's,
some sort, some sort
yeah.
of therapist, or
So, Matt,
she's
do you
probably
need a county
analyzing
with
us
a
all.
judge going to?
Yeah, I
Oh,
definitely need it.
do you know about the judge that got attacked a couple of days ago in Vegas?
I don't watch.
I'm
I
gonna get a
did
cup
see
of
a guy.
coffee.
I did see a guy leap over the judge.
Yeah,
I just caught a. I don't know anything about it though, but I know it's a woman judge got like attacked, right?
yeah, yeah.
Usually it's a lawyer that gets attacked, but a judge did. You have to fill me in. I mean, what was that all? What was that
No,
all about?
it was just something she was sentencing him, and he wasn't happy, so he just leaped over. Do you know what I mean?
Usually,
It was in Vegas.
I was surrounded. They wanted to shot collar me, but I mean, I'm surprised they didn't. That guy, I heard he had serious. He was up like murder charges. I mean, why would they allow a guy like that loose in the
I don't even know what the charges.
courtroom?
Yeah. Sandra, Matt did address you at the start. He did actually give you a personal message at the start as well. He did say thank you for the messages. Thanks, Sandra, he said. But thanks for popping in, Sandra. Hello, Tudley. And my favourite, Mexi Texi, my fave. Here she is. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us at the Altar Corner. Give a thumbs up, give it a good smack, jingle that notification button, and subscribe. Good vibes. Thank you, Mexi. Love to see you, Mex. Hi, Mexi. Hello, Erin Hack, Dudley. Hi, Sandra. So yeah, so I think we'll get into it because I've got a few hours today. We'll get into it. Before we get into Paul, before we get into you, you are our star guest today, obviously. So you're probably more important than Matt today, actually. So, but before we go to you as a star of the show, let's address something, Matt. Mathew Moore, you got in touch with me a couple of days back, all excited, and we're like, you'll never guess what the hell has just happened. And you just got off a phone call with a certain woman. So, do you want to tell? I have spoken to some people about it and told them, but do you want to address it and tell everybody what happened to you, I believe, on Thursday of this week?
Um, I'm just gonna assume most of you know my story, by now.
Yeah.
I received text messaging because I'm fairly public. I'm out there in the public, and I get weird text messages all the time. I've kind of I learned to like vet them. I can kind of tell a lot of them are just like weirdos. They just want to know weird things, and and then other ones are kind of like, okay, well, this one wasn't bad. It was like a month ago, maybe more. Is this Matt Moore? I'm like, who wants to know? I mean, what do you owe me money? And that usually chases them away. you But this one, a month later, she got back and she could tell the honesty. She's like, I'm looking to talk to Mathew Moore. If this is Mathew Moore, and I'm like, all right, well, what is this about? And she texts back and she said, well, it's about Steve. And I'm like, Steve, I have an uncle Steve. I immediately thought I had another sick relative. Someone was just awful, all the woof goes through your head.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve who? And she comes back, she's like, Grubbs. And I'm like, Steve Grubbs. now I'm totally paranoid, I'm like height alert. I think the world's after me, man, all
It's
the
the
time.
FBI again.
Yeah, and they're so I'm finally, I'm like, all right, you got me, lady. Can we do this text wise? She's like, no, I really need to talk to you on the phone. I said, all right, well, give me your phone number. I called her, and I immediately thought she was going to start, we watch your alternate corner every week, and we're gonna bring a lawsuit against you or the FBI. We're investigating something. Something, right? You know, because
Yep.
Dylan and I get on the show every week and just rip and tear, man.
Hammer him.
I say,
hammer him.
I hammer him. It was his ex-wife. That was
Wow.
his last. It was their last day of divorce court. They were just in divorce court, and I guess, yeah, it was his wife, or Stephen Grubbs, the lead detective in my case, his now ex-wife, and we had a great conversation. We talked for like an hour. I mean, I can tell she's not lying. She's a victim of this man. She's like, I wanted to talk to someone who'd been treated like Stephen is. She, calls him Stephen. I'll call him Grubbs. I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And she's like, I wanted to meet someone else and talk to someone else that has been treated so poorly by Grubbs. So we just talked for an hour. Lawsuit information. There's a lot of like, she didn't like go into it, but she just wanted to reach out to me and talk to me, and it was a special conversation. It was really nice to get to feel that kind of intimacy with someone that Steve Grubbs knew. He's not a nice guy, as you can imagine. I mean, being a cop's wife, I guess, is just your odds of being slapped around are way up there, and they're
So
abusive.
she said he got physical with her?
No, I am not going to say that.
See, you gotta watch where you're going with that, boy.
I'm just saying, cops.
You can't just say
out there. Cops.
You can't do that. You can't do that shit,
man. I'm gonna roll the dice, man.
He's a
what?
what?
50-50? I hear it's like 50-50 whether a cop smacks his fucking old lady around. You know what I mean?
It's not 50-50. It's more like 75-20.
It's like playing black or red on the fucking roulette wheel, man. I mean, come on. Cops are they're jerks to their wives. Well, she didn't say anything like that, but
no.
He's a very, very this is the thing that got me. If you go back and look I have all the text messages between Emily and I keep telling everybody this. I have a copy. The cops have a copy. My attorney have a copy. You want a copy? I'll make a copy. There's like 500 pages. I never once called my wife a fucking cunt. I'll tell you that. And I guess that's Grubbs' favorite term to use when he talks to his wife, text-wise. You look at his texts, and their texts together. You have to read Emily's texts between us. We didn't argue. One day, I said to her, "Hey, Emily, you're being shallow. You're in the intellect shallow." It was wrong. I shouldn't have said it. But that's as harsh as I got in the whole. That they had my texting. One day I was just, and I'm telling you, with Emily, it was like you had to like strategize. One day being kind of like mean to her like that would get her to shut up. Other days, if you didn't pay attention to her, she would stop bitching. You learn to deal with your wife's bitching, and it wasn't even like bitching. I mean, comparatively speaking, to like this Grubbs and his wife's texting, I guess was horrible. When you get to the fuck you cunt, you're a fucking cunt. That's where else are you gonna go, right? I mean,
did you see any of that?
Her texting? No, but
or is this all hearsay?
She just told me. She just talked to me yesterday. What are you, a fucking lawyer now?
Yeah, of course.
She said she would be willing to show me those for my own. I mean, I don't want to like. I mean, don't want to go too far into something. And he has a daughter. I hope Grubbs is watching. Your fucking daughter. I mean, good luck, buddy. I mean, your family's turning on you because you're a fucking asshole.
Well, that's true.
Grubbs.
This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the trial coming up. Yes. For sure, hands down, yeah. Grubbs, and I was asking Dylan if he was watching it while it was going down, and he said no.
Yeah, this is his first time watching the trial.
Because I would watch it on TV live, and then I'd have the iPad open for comments. and everybody was commenting on the first couple of days was you taking off your shoes, and then after that they focused on counting how many mints you were going to eat. It was ridiculous, man. It was
Ridiculous.
completely, and then them throwing you under the bus 1,000% over zero evidence.
Emily
And I
Way
never,
to come
never,
home. All you
yeah,
need to know.
never
Remember that?
once, I never once chimed into those comments. None of it.
Well,
I wanted to, but I just held my tongue until the verdict, and I was like, "There you go." God,
they
just blew me away, man.
the
The zero,
it's
zero, zero evidence, and
it's really easy.
you're
Easy
defending your entire life now for the rest
for
of your life
the
on
police and the
zero
media.
evidence.
The police and the media can. I mean, they have the advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
They threw
and
you under the bus, immediately,
Yeah.
immediately. By
the
by by Friday, I was afraid to walk out of your house to hand out flyers.
yeah, it was
It was
bad.
ridiculous, man.
Go ahead, Paul. There's an allegation. I started this by saying Grubbs to this day. He wasn't just. It's been a while now. He was on this Law and Crime. They did a 20-minute piece on me, and he gets on there and he says that I wasn't searching, that I was sitting home drinking. It was as if I could care less. I didn't even call him for updates.
We
Did we
couldn't. Well,
search
the
for
thing
Emily? I
was,
mean,
okay. What Wednesday, they're calling you a murderer. Literally, they're yelling at you, screaming at you that you're a murderer. So, you got a hold of that old attorney, that semi-retired attorney. Thank God, because he hooked you up with Diane. But and he said, don't talk
I'm
to
gonna take that
police
back.
anymore.
Yeah. His name was Roger. I won't use his last name, but he was a friend of Dad's.
Yeah,
Dad knew that
yeah,
Bonnie, and Bonnie knew the
exactly.
lawyer.
And he said, do not talk to the lawyer. I mean, to the law enforcement unless it's through your lawyer. So that put the end of that. So that's when we concentrated, because they were looking for a dead body
Right,
with the cadaver dogs,
right.
with the
The
DNA samples, with the
Everybody's
phone.
searching in the woods, right? They were in the weeds. They're in the bottom of
Yep.
lakes.
Yeah.
They were not searching for a live person.
Right. At all.
No.
Because even a week later, I was at the rally in that little town where you lived.
Otterbein University. It's right in Westerville. It's a nursing college. Remember?
Westerville. They had a
A million.
BLM rally.
Yeah.
So we went up
Black
there
Lives Matter.
we went down to Columbus a bunch, repeatedly, because of the rallies, and handed out thousands of flyers. Thousands,
Well,
just
they
stacks and
took pictures.
stacks.
Remember? They would
Yeah,
take pictures
yeah.
of it.
But we had plenty, so we would hand them out. I
Yeah.
would just say, here, take a picture of this, throw it on your social media. Please put the word out there. Emily, took off. We're just trying to find her. So we went down to homeless encampments, everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
We walked into homeless encampments. Remember that? I had my
Yep.
pistol with me. Excuse me. Have you seen this woman? People are like, "What the fuck is with this guy?"
Yeah. But
For
we
them to
did. We
say
looked and
that
looked
we
and
weren't
looked.
searching.
By like the third day, we found 3 sightings of Emily, and we tracked each lady down. Each one down. 3 different ladies. One was under an overpass, which looked a lot like Emily. That one down next to the homeless camp. When you guys walked up to the homeless camp, I took the car and went up there's a park that connects all of Columbus together
That's
from.
downtown Columbus. I forget the name of that. The Scioto Mile, they call it, or
Yeah,
something. Right
it's like
downtown.
a nature trail
Right.
paved,
Yeah.
but for
Right.
bikes and stuff. People walk it, and it connects right to their house pretty much. So that's why we were down at that camp thinking she might have went out for a walk and just, these boots were made for walking type of
Kept
thing, and
walking,
just
baby.
kept on walking. So, and then we posted at every entrance to that park all the way down to downtown Columbus, and every single entrance, even in neighborhoods that trail would lead to, we
They call them
posted a
trailheads.
bunch. Yep, trailheads. But basically, they were just sidewalks through, from between two
Right.
houses in the neighborhood. That was a
Right.
trailhead. But we made sure to put her uh, in clear wrap so the rain wouldn't hurt it, and we
Right.
just posted it everywhere, all for 10 days
I
while I
remember
was
you
there.
having a bad back. Your back was really hurting you, and the pain that you were in, in the amount of effort that you
Yeah,
put in. And then when I hear Grubb say that I wasn't doing anything, he
yeah.
knows we were. You do
I'd
know that they
walk.
put up.
I'd walk
They
about 100 yards and have to lay down. So I was
Yeah, it was
useless.
awful.
But I
It was
could
horrible.
drive. I could sit and drive to the trailheads, and we went to every park. We went to every rally, and you just get me up on a corner of a rally, and there's 10,000 people marching by. And I was like, "Hey, you want to really do something? Help us out. If you really want change, let's go find us. Let's go
Yeah.
find Emily."
It's kind of like insulting. I would think that Grubbs would get up on the stand or on these shows
Yeah.
and continue to lie
No, but
and say
that was
that
the whole thing. Even during, like, let's say when they did that search, the first search behind
right
that
that the like
in the woods behind,
right
it was a swamp, and Art Art went.
Art went.
Yeah, Art went.
Mm.
We couldn't go.
Well, I couldn't go. My lawyer said, I mean, when you can't join police
You
searches
can't do
after
it.
the police,
Yeah.
they turn around and go, look, he's not helping. It's a
Yeah.
tactic.
And
They're lying to you. They're
to this
manipulating you.
day, there's people commenting that you never looked. You just you're a complete alcoholic drunk, doing whatever
Well,
inside Emily's house. And I'm like, y'all have no clue what the real
how hard
story
we
is.
searched.
Yeah.
We couldn't have
So
searched
thank
any
God you
harder,
wrote your
man.
book. Thank God you wrote your
Thank
Yeah.
God,
book, man.
thank God you're on here to be a witness for me to let people know
Yeah.
that we did search. We searched harder than they searched. I guarantee we searched harder than Grubb searched. He didn't get in those
Yeah.
woods. He didn't
They
walk
were
through those
searching
fucking
for
fields.
evidence. By then, all they were trying to do at that point was to um, build a case against you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hence
And
the
a lot of
cell phones, DNA. They're looking for DNA. Which, okay,
DNA.
okay, Matt. Let's say things went south because she blew a fuse, and you took her out and you picked her up and you carried her 500 yards, dragged her in the woods, you know, and
Yeah.
then marched your ass all the way back, slept until 11. The next day, you go in. You just went through a thicket. I don't know if people realize what a thicket is, but you can't just
No.
walk through a thicket and back. And
What's
then
a
they're like,
thicket?
"Oh yeah, he magically cleaned his clothes." You can see right where you undressed. You put on your clothes that you're wearing right that day, and you take off your shirt and you give it to him. And you're like, "Here, look." He goes, "Do you mind taking off your shirt?" And nope, Matt's gonna get naked. It's ridiculous. Zero evidence. And now you're on murder. How can you not sue these dipshits? It blows me away.
Um, there's a thing called qualified immunity that
Bullshit.
puts there a lawyer to take on this. It's
It's
harder to
bullshit. That's
get
what it is,
over.
man.
Yeah, it's bullshit. They're protected. They have
Yeah,
immunity
Yeah.
against
and
all
that's
this bullshit.
bullshit.
It
And
is.
it's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
And then you
I
got the
got
ones
lucky.
where, oh well, he's not innocent. He's presumed innocent or some shit like that.
Fucking those. They're
There's
fading out.
How the fuck can you even bring charges? Why didn't the judge throw it out?
Because
that's really my favorite part of this trial was when that chick who flew down here saying she was FBI.
listen to this, Dylan.
And she
Who is this?
presented herself as an FBI agent down here to me.
Is that even legal to do?
And that was
Schiffel,
what's
the
her name,
DA.
John? What's her name, Matt?
Schiffel, I forgot what her Melissa Schiffel, I guess. And her
Oh my
last name is
God.
Schiffel. She is the DA of Delaware County. She
Yeah,
flew down
yeah,
or drove
yeah.
down. I don't know how it is. I'm
She
guessing they
flew.
probably flew down first
Yeah.
class. I'm guessing, And
Got
what do they do to
with
you?
the FBI in Tampa and presented herself as FBI to me.
And what did she say to you?
She asked me about that check you gave me for my back surgery. Then she goes, what's this money? And I was like, Matt hooked me up with what the medical side of my doing my insurance, what it would cost, and it was like a little over $5,000, and I don't have $5,000 hanging around. Boom, Matt hooked me up. No more pain in my back. What's up with that? But no, that was murder. I went up there and helped
She threatened you?
drag a lady
She
through the wood.
threatened
I
you with
can't even walk 100 yards at that time at all. And then you want me to carry a body with you?
So
Just
she accused
ridiculous.
you of being an
Just
accessory after the fact. She accused you of being
no,
involved.
Of course not. Of course not.
What'd she say to you?
Of course not. She's like, okay, so what'd you do while you were up there? I was like, well, the police at the time was 1,000% looking for a crime and 0% looking for Emily. So Matt made a Find Emily Facebook page and just started trying to get the word out there that Emily has not come home yet. We don't, there's no proof that she killed herself. You're in, Westerville. No one's going to get abducted. You know what I'm saying? She just beat feet, man. She just decided, okay, my birthday's today. Screw it. I'm hiking. Who knows?
Right? Who knows? Exactly. Who knows? Go ahead, Dylan.
But no, to them, they're not even looking for Emily alive.
They were not
the
looking
entire
for
time
her
I was
alive.
there. I asked
They
the
were in the
cop.
weeds.
I handed a Westerville cop, like 7 days after I was there, we were at that rally in that small town.
Outer
I
bounds.
handed him, I was like, well, you are, he goes, what's going on? And I was like, well, I'm sure you know. And he goes, what? I was like, well, we got a missing lady. And that cop and he's a Westerville cop,
He didn't
had
even
no clue, none, that they were looking for Emily.
No. But I've got to jump in here for a second. Jump in here for a second because I forgot to introduce you, Paul, because some people think you're friends with Matt, but you're actually Matt's brother from another mother. So stepbrothers, essentially. So obviously friends, but it is...
half brother.
Yeah, well, sorry, half brother. So they are half brothers. So it's not more than just friendship. It is a bit more blood than that. So just in case people didn't know, Paul is from Florida. He does stuff with pools. You see him in chat. He's always got something. I'm not sure, Paul Pools or something. A long name he got normally in chat on Saturdays. So he does all that work with pools. There's a few people obviously coming here. Erin Haxley, I should buy and send Matt an alternate colour t-shirt so he can wear one on stream when you guys do these Saturdays. Absolutely, you should, Erin. Shady, Baseball Dad, welcome. We got Lady Law. We all love Lady Law. Thank you, Lady Law, for being here.
Lady Law. Hey, Lady Law.
She's going driving to Grance's birthday. Hope you'll agree with. Thanks, Lady Law, and you as well. So, I know we've just jumped into it, and we just got a lot of stuff in from you guys already, but I'm just trying to condense the timeline here a little bit as well, because you have said it. This all happened on one day, and within 2 days, Paul, you flew to Matt essentially to be by his side, and you stayed there for 10 days. Is how I've interpreted that.
Yeah, something like that.
So you just literally jumped on a plane and you went out to him, and whilst that's what he needed, that's what you were there for. But like you obviously being his half brother, what was he like? How was he treated? What was Matt like during that 10 days? Because he's going through hell, obviously.
He was,
And
he was completely tormented because he. We wanted to find Emily, man. No matter what happened to her, we wanted to find Emily. So the cops, I was like, well, they're looking for a body, so let them look for a body. We're not, me and him is kind of crippled up. So we're not going to be traipsing around through woods the whole time. So let them handle that. Uh, 2 dogs tracked her scent to a house. So I was like, well, they got a lead where she went. So, but there's no body. So let's look for Emily. So we concentrated on that the entire time. And the cops that interviewed me down here, they didn't want to hear that at all. That's why I wasn't mentioned at all, except for the check during court. They didn't want to hear the truth. They didn't want to call me up. And then kudos to Diane for not even asking Arturo and myself to go up there, because there was absolutely no need to prove our innocence. Hey, what's up,
hey, Dr.
man?
Hines.
Hey, how you
Hey,
doing?
finally good to meet you. I've been watching y'all nonstop.
Oh,
Thank you for taking on this guy's case. He's a numbskull. And he would have never been able to do it without you guys. Thank you very much.
This is Matt's
True.
brother, by the way. So Matt's brother, Dr. Dr. Hines. I
nice to
didn't
meet
give
you,
you the
Paul.
intro. I didn't want to cut
Paul.
off Paul.
It's
So
like I already know both of you guys. I've been watching you nonstop. Thank you.
that's
Really.
great. You carry on, Paul. You tell us a great story here. Do you know what I mean? So you keep going, man.
I just want to see that lady freak out from the judge thinking about throwing out the case. What is that
Oh, that's
called when
the rule 29.
Rule
It's at the end.
29. So,
Just before,
all right. So you have zero evidence, zero DNA, zero anything, and the judge sleeps on it all overnight, which is okay. After the freak out, her freak out, claiming that she didn't have any water that day,
right.
it is the most ridiculous court proceeding I've ever seen in my life. Just because she realizes there's literally no evidence against Matt. Zero. Why even have this? And she had a
Well,
complete freak out blaming that she didn't have enough water or some shit. It's just
sure.
ridiculous.
Her
Yeah.
argument is really weak, and I just like the reaction of the judge is priceless when she goes, "Well, Your Honor, this case is mostly circumstantial," and just the way the judge reacts, he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I know, I got you there." He says or something like that. It's just priceless. I don't know what's going on, Paul, with these people in those positions. Why do they bring it to trial? There's so many. I want to talk to lawyers, maybe ex-DAs, and there was a guy on a couple weeks ago that we had on from Australia, and he's a lawyer, and he pointed out something that I never thought before. You remember Dylan? That guy, was he on this podcast? The guy from Australia.
Aiden, you are Hayden. Yeah, I know. Aussie Overload.
Well,
Yeah.
he pointed out that sometimes people bring cases to trial because they want to make someone look bad. Sometimes they bring them to trial as a favor to another favor. The defense attorneys will convince, not the minded, but that's how dirty it gets. Defense attorneys will come in and talk to DAs and be like, "Hey, man, if you bring this thing to trial, this guy's worth $1 million. I'll slip you 50 if you bring it to trial." It is fucking dirt. It's dirty, man. It is fucking bad.
Yeah.
Well, she
Give these
wanted
lawyers and go ahead.
the DA wanted your ass like immediately. They were trying to build a case
How?
against
But
you.
with no evidence. I mean, how? And didn't
Yeah,
they know
so
that
that's
Diane
why.
was
That's why
Diane?
when I got, that's why I knew you needed help, because Pops is old.
Right.
Clayton and Marlene. I don't even think
Worthless.
Marlene lived in town.
She did, and she did nothing. She did. I never heard from her. She never helped me look. Worthless. Clayton and Marlene were, no offense, but I have sister and brother that are just they're millennials. I mean, they were busy baking fucking cookies with no sugar in it or something. I don't know what they do, but they weren't helping. You and Art flew in, and you make me want to cry whenever I think about it. You and Art came in. You helped me search for 11 days, and that's all we did was search. And then for Grubbs to get on TV and say he never looked, he never even called me. Those are tactics by police, Grubbs,
to just throw
to
you
get
under
the
the bus,
community to
right?
still think I'm guilty. He's
Yeah,
still
they
trying to
do. They
make.
still think to this day that
I
that
don't think they
somehow you
know I'm innocent. They're
miraculously.
just
Yeah, they have no clue on how it actually happened if it wasn't suicide, but it wasn't
these guys
suicide.
know. Ask Dylan, ask Dr. Hines. I'm a mastermind. Literal fucking
Criminal.
mastermind.
Yeah,
Criminal.
Criminal. Fucking, I can't get my cell phone to work, but I could kill someone,
Yeah.
murder them.
Yeah. Magically
any
make them
trace
appear in the
anywhere.
woods. Yeah.
How do you do this?
Right.
How the fuck did you pull something like that? They wanted it to be murder. It's advantageous. Cops want murder. That's their business. And it's all about money. They don't care. Bring them to trial. Well, you're going to lose. So what? The whole community's probably forgot about it already. And all that money it generated, all that attention, all that. Grubbs is probably going to be police chief one day because he'll spin it and he did a good job. And Diane's the evil lawyer and fucking she lied on. It's all just a game, man. It's all about money more than anything else. It's just about money. What was weird? Paul was there when it was so quickly assumed that I killed her. He was there for it, and we were like, "What is going on?" There's nothing here saying that she's even dead. Why are you looking for a body? We're gonna go out and look for a live person. So we spent all the time that he was there looking for a live person. We did everything, and that was just get the word out. So we made flyers.
Yeah, we put flyers in every store, on every light pole, stoplight pole, turn signals, the poles on the side of the road. We made sure Emily's picture was on every single one, from outside of town all the way into Columbus. And then when we got that covered, we turned around and went the other way. We went out further away from the city, further out into the country. Every little store had her flyer, at least two. No matter which way you walked in that store, you're going to see Emily's face. At truck stops, everywhere.
Anywhere that police stations, we stood outside of Kroger's, which is the grocery store, until they kicked us out. Until a cop finally came by and said, "We can't have you out here. You're making the customers."
I was in front of Home Depot, so they walked over to Home Depot, and we just stayed out in Home Depot because they didn't mind.
All right.
So we sat there for the rest of the day handing out flyers there. Yeah, man. We were looking for Emily.
And it would be disingenuous for anyone to say that we weren't searching, that I wasn't searching. They're lying to you if anybody says that. And they had a GPS on my car. They put a tracker device on my car, and they didn't bring that up at trial because we were all over the place.
Exactly, man.
Right.
And of course, Diane brings up a trial brilliantly and just knocks it out of the park. It's just
we got Diane lined up here next to play now. So obviously, Paul, I know you want to put some stuff about this as well. We got her coming up, but before I put her up, I've got a couple of questions for you, Matt, before we could delve into this now, right? Because first of all, just want to say that Grubb's ex-wife might be watching here today in chat.
I hope she is.
So if you are, hello. No malice towards you at all. Please say hello.
She seems like a very sweet lady. She seems very. She's going through a divorce. There's a kid. There's a house. There's money involved, and the word "a fucking cunt" is being used. I mean, it's a heavy thing, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel for her, and we talked for an hour the other day, and it was just this really, really great
Yeah.
conversation. It was
So if
she's a
she's
sweet
here,
baby.
feel free to chat. Yeah, feel free to chat. No one will jump on you or anything. You know, full respect to you. Um, the next thing I had for you was I saw. I forgot to bring this up before. You donated, I believe, $10,000 or something. Um, or was it something? And to find Emily, and then they spent that money without telling you. Do you want to explain a bit about that?
What I when Paul left, I'm gonna cry, dude.
No, it was there. Well, I was there.
When when
I was
Paul
there.
left,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
left.
You put
No,
up,
you
I
guys
think
left,
you put
and
up.
I was all alone. I got it, Paul. I was all alone when they left. Literally all alone. I had a sister and brother, half brother in town that were worthless. My dad was 79. He did everything he could. He tried, but he was 79. And here my cousins around the corner. They suspected me because they got flipped really quick. Everybody thought I had done this. Um, and Celeste, my wife Emily's best friend came up and said, "Hey, you know, Crime Stoppers, they're good. They search for people. They could put her name on." Oh, I'm like, "Oh, Crime Stoppers, I've heard of them. Put a reward on there, and they'll take over the search efforts for you." And I was like, "There it is." So I gave him 10 G's. I wrote him a check. I had money. I had that kind of money. It was not a big deal. So I gave him $10,000. Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers, they're cops. When you go to use Crime Stop, they're cops. They collected the 10 grand, and all they did was post her on their website and got it mentioned once on the news for 10 grand. They're pretty much worthless. The women that found her were these women that were just kind of like searching around Westerville during their exercise walks. I don't know who would ever think that where they found her had been searched 3 times, once by a cadaver dog. No one in the world thought she was that close to the house. I was hoping she was still alive. Of course, these women find her. Well, they give the women the 10 grand, which I didn't even cool. That's what it was for. They donated. These stupid women, these numbskulls, these dumbbells that live in Westerville and pay all that fucking tax to live in Westerville. They donate part of the 10 grand to Westerville Police Department. And you know what the Westerville Police Department did? They bought a dog.
What dog?
A Chloe, a comfort dog or something. And it's like the dogs missed her. The irony is that the dogs, why Emily was there for so long and not wasn't found, was because the dogs, the search dogs that don't work, ask Mighty Meat, a law enforcement official, they don't work, missed her, and she stayed out there for 4 months. Then they turn around and they buy a dog, a comfort dog named Chloe, with the 10 grand that well, not all of it, but part of it. So it's just kind of like
Yeah.
irony that they would buy a dog.
Well, good for
No, I
them.
know.
Now.
What, you know
I
what I mean?
saw.
I just kind of find it ironic that they would
Yeah.
give more money to completely incompetent fucking assholes that can't. But my wife was literally 150 yards from my house for 4 months. You have a cadaver dog that walked by her fucking who knows how many times because they're incompetent. You should see the look on the face of the people that are leading these dogs around, or these dogs are leading. They're fucking dummies. They're like bloated faces. They don't know what they're doing. And then you're going to turn around and give the money that you just got for finding her. Why did they? People that are intimate with this case, someone please tell me why those women went into those woods to look
They
for
were
Emily.
looking for Emily. They
Why?
weren't hiking. They were
Yeah, I
looking for
know,
Emily.
Paul, but why would they go in that particular spot? It'd been searched.
Because the
Nobody
cops
thought she
asked
was
them
there.
to. The cops
Cops
asked
fucking
them
told
to.
them to get in
Yeah.
there and look.
Yeah.
You don't tell me this ain't weird shit. That's weird shit.
They looked
What?
they looked in those woods 3 times while I was there. Well, one time they walked by there with a cadaver dog before I got there. And then while I was there, they had another team from Texas come in and walk the same
Texas
route. So
EquuSearch, their sole purpose in on this planet is to look for corpses.
Dead bodies. Yeah,
They
dead
came in
bodies.
and literally carpeted Westerville looking for Emily.
Right.
There's a patch of trees 150 yards from my house that she was in, and they didn't fucking find her. It's a scam, man. They weren't even looking. They don't look. They were building a case on me, period. They're rookies. They're rookies.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's the story
Yeah.
about the dogs.
That's great.
$10,000 was my money. A lot of people said it was Emily's money. It was my money. I gave him 10 grand. Those women that
Yeah,
found
that's
him,
another thing. To this
found him,
day,
and
they think you are spending Emily's money, and it's not true at all. Not a penny.
I had more money than Emily. You could say Emily married me for the money more than the other way around. She didn't.
Well, she was pretty set too, though. She was pretty set. The only reason why she continued to work is for the insurance for you guys, right? Pretty much.
White privilege. We definitely had some white privilege floating around the house. Yeah, we were set, man. We were set. I was retired. Emily worked to cover the insurance. She worked from home.
Right.
It was great. I mean, you couldn't ask financially for a better situation. You should see where I live now. No offense to my buddy who's letting me stay here, but I am back to living like a 20-year-old, man. Cleaned out, wiped out, fucking wiped out. And that's what this thing is all about. It's money.
You shaved like a 20-year-old.
I can't afford razors, dude. That's money. I can't have money for razors.
Let's get into it. We got Hens. Hello, Hens. We got Connie in the chat. Connie's here. Hi, Connie. Thank you so much for joining us. So Connie was a juror, juror number 8, I believe. So she's in the chat.
Juror number 8.
Oh,
hey, Connie.
Yeah,
nice.
she's here. Nudia, hello, my darling. Everybody, thank you for joining us, guys. One more observation for you, though, Matt, because we just mentioned it. You were on about Aiden from he's Mighty Meat's friend. He streams as well, Aussie Underworld, Underworld, whatever it's called. You need to go on his program. I know that Mighty Meat.
That's where I met that guy, Mighty Meat. Okay, cool, man. Tell that dude, hey, you can call me. I'll do an interview with you anytime. He's an insight. That he's smart.
He's good. He's
smart
very
dude,
good.
so.
He's a good streamer, and he's like got 100 times more viewers than I get. So he'd be a really good person for you to be on. Yeah. He would be very good for you to get on.
Don't worry, buddy. We're gonna stay on here until you get 100 fucking more viewers.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And another one, we got Frankie. We'll get Matt on your channel as well, because Frankie's great as well. She's from Canada. She's
get a hold of me.
She's a lovely lady.
I'm willing to do any interviews with anybody I want to. I'm gonna start. Ultimately, I want to get on Joe Rogan, right? I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
That's it.
To get on Rogan.
You start here, end up in Rogan. Do you know what I mean? So
look at how nice Menage looks today. Look at that fucking suit.
She's a very beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's an assassin, man.
So, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've never seen this, but Paul, if you've got any comments, just let us know. I've just literally got to start and put my lights on, but I'll be straight back. Here he is, skiving, Mighty Me. Hey, Jen, sorry, working on documentary and doing interviews. See, skiving today. Having a day off, he is. I'm joking. No worries, Mighty. How many innocent people in prison didn't have the money or good representation like Matt?
Yeah,
Connie, spot on. Right, everyone's here for this moment to see Diane Menage, to see her with her cross of grubs. So let's get going. And I'll be straight back. Let me put my lights on.
I'll be back too.
You just go on.
I'll be right back.
Don't you worry about it.
Thank you. You know how I can be now. Detective, how are you?
Okay, ma'am. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. So, I'm going to start with the cell phone, and it won't surprise you to know that I'm going to bounce around a bunch. But you, in the extraction, the text messages between, or the messages between Emily and Matt, did you ever print those out and have an actual hard copy?
No.
Would it surprise, there was a volume of text messages, were there not?
Absolutely, there were.
And would it surprise you to know that the volume of text messages within the date and time of your search range was this much paper.
I believe that, yes.
And of this much paper, of messages between Matt and Emily Moore, the exhibits you were asked about, 81A, 81B, 81C, those text messages and those three exhibits that talked about those arguments with Matt and Emily consist of that much paper.
Okay.
Is that fair to say? Those are the exhibits you were asked about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I want to go through them. Have you, let's go through them. And if you wouldn't mind, because I'm going to go through so many exhibits, if we just showing you what's been marked is 81, State's Exhibit 81A. Just so the jury is clear, 81A is from November 21st of 2019. Is that right?
That is correct.
And Detective, let me know if at any point in time you need me to approach. I'm happy to show you things if it's more clear.
Okay.
And I just want to go to the second page of that when you were giving color and context as to what Matt and the phone of Matt and Emily are saying. Right here in the green bubble, that's the bubble that's associated with the phone for EM. Is that right?
That is correct.
Those two words right there say not me, do they not?
That's correct. Sorry. That's correct.
It says unintelligible.
Correct.
Unintelligible means I can't understand you, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I want to go on to this last message, which you were asked about. I'm going to get it together soon. I just need to let this sadness thing run its course. It won't be much longer. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you were questioning Matt Moore in that interview room on May 27th, and you were asking him a whole lot of questions about his marriage. You would agree with me that you kept using a time frame of 6 months. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Like last 6 months, right?
That's correct.
And I remember in the interview that, of course, the jurors watched, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you were using that 6 months time frame, and Matt told you that things after Joey had killed himself had been tough, for lack of a better word.
That's correct.
They had both, they being he and Emily, were both dealing with that situation in different ways. Do you remember him telling you that?
That's correct.
So tell me, we know that Emily went missing in May, right, of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
So April, March, February, January, December, November. How many months is November prior to May?
You want the exact date or just a ballpark?
Just a ballpark.
6 months.
6 months, right? And right here he says it won't be much longer. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Going to 82B. Just want to make sure you were asked about it. And again, the blue bubbles are, let me move it up. The blue bubbles are from the phone identified as Matt Moore. First 5 words, December 31st, 2019. So New Year's Eve. I don't want to argue. Do you see that?
I do.
And you've reviewed, I know, this stack of messages
Come on.
through the course of your investigation. You would agree, would you not, that the message of I don't want to argue, please be positive, is a constant message from Matt Moore to Emily Miller?
Okay.
It's a regular message, is it not? please be positive. Stay positive. I need you to be positive.
I'd agree with that.
You agree with that, buddy. Good job.
As evidenced by second page of Exhibit 81B. Try and be positive. That's a blue bubble, is it not?
Yes, it is.
I also want to just go up because you were asked about this earlier. The green bubble is associated with the EM phone, right? And this is New Year's Eve. Do you see how she said, or the green bubble says, you used the wrong word? It's singular. Do you see that, detective?
I do.
So one word is enough for the user of the green bubble to be this upset.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
All right, you can answer that question.
It's one word that causes this chain of text.
One word.
Yes.
Want to go to?
Do you want to know the relevance to that?
81C?
Can you understand me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, or because you're not?
Yeah.
They're gonna use if you read the text messages in context, you'll understand that just by me using the word mad got her angry, and her anger was then later on she would say, well, I'm afraid of you coming home, or she said something about something along those lines, where this really small little argument got going, where they use that as evidence that there's a troubled marriage. And if you read the whole thing in context, and that's where Diane's going with this. She didn't even need to, but lawyers do this thing where if they have to use it, they'll use it like later. But she's bringing up the word mad. Literally, if I use the word mad, Emily would get upset. And then I would have to deal with her because women are,
Be careful.
right? I mean, and if you read it all, it's literally like.
There's a couple words that you can't use around me too, though.
She breaks it down, and we have this long conversation. If you read the whole thing, she's like, "Well, why am I mad? Why am I upset with you?" And I'm like, "Well, because I used the word mad." And she's like, "Well, thank you for realizing that." And we went about our day, and there was nothing to it. They cherry picked everything, and it was just.
And that's evidence,
like I said, if you want to read,
that's your evidence.
That's fuck. I was gone, but she shows there's like a stack of 500 pages of text messages,
Yeah.
and they literally took 10 pages out of it. And the worst thing that they could find was that I had used the word
positive,
mad,
honey.
and Emily got upset.
Stay positive.
And I'm telling her to stay positive. And at one point,
Yeah,
in
that's
December,
evidence against you.
she was bitching one day, like everybody bitches, right? And if you even want to call it bitching, I wouldn't even call what Emily did was bitching, but she was bitching in her own way. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? You want to get a divorce? And she's like, that's not what I'm talking about. But you know what it did? It got her to stop bitching. So that style of arguing, if you want to call it arguing, I was like, well, then why are we arguing? It was the little tiny things like that. And anybody with half a brain, and I think Grubbs has a half a brain, I think he does, you would read that and just there's no case here. There's nothing here in the text messaging that would indicate that I wanted to kill my wife. And I don't think you could hide that. There would be arguments. I've heard, like Grubbs right now going through a divorce, his wife, who I was just on the phone with the other day, was telling me about the text messaging between them. Or Grubbs is saying to her, at
Maybe
least.
that's a good thing.
Horrifying.
That was leaked out.
Like horrifying. Just think about, Diane says it during that show that she was on. I mean, just go back and look at the text messaging between you and your wife and the things you would say over the last 2 years. There would be more chances of you getting a murder charge on you than us, because literally Emily and I didn't argue. We had this marriage that was we didn't fight at all. So they had to go into these perfectly normal text messaging and find something, right? And they found
Yeah.
this. They're telling you what they found.
Stay positive.
Let
honey.
Diane do it. I'm sorry, but the point of that was Diane was like, she got upset over one word, mad, and that was relevant because if she needed to use that later, she would have, but she didn't even need to use it. But I'm telling you, that's the word mad. I had to learn to use the word upset around Emily, or she'd be like, "What'd you say?" Just one of them things, you know.
Yeah, that's
Boring, right? Wicked fucking boring life. You know what I mean? What the fuck ever. Hey, go ahead.
Do you agree with me that this text exchange is from February of 2020?
Yes, I agree.
So we have the text exchange with respects to disagreements with Matt. We have 81A, which is in November of 2019, right?
Yes.
81B, which is in New Year's Eve of 1920.
2 months later, right?
Happy to show it to you.
1920? 2019?
2019.
Okay. No, sorry.
That's okay.
It's been a
Yeah,
long day.
there's only grubs in. Come
Me
on.
too.
Man.
So I'll give you grace, you
I
give
had
me
to
grace.
pause.
Everybody's laughing, having a good time, you know, and I'm sitting there fucking fighting for my life. Fuck all
Yeah,
y'all.
but I love how she keeps everything friendly until she has a real point to make.
She knows what she's doing.
She really knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, December 13th of year 2019 going into 2020. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. That's 81B. Now I want to talk about 81C. Is now we're in February of 2020.
Yes.
February to March, March to April, April to May. This is more than 3 months before Emily goes missing, is it not?
That is correct.
And these text messages that were asked about what Matt Moore, Blue Bubble, and Green Bubble of Emily, right? He's talking about the medication I got today isn't working. I'm extremely anxious. Can I have one of your Valium? Where are you? Do you see that in 81C?
No. Can you pull it down just a little?
Of course I can. Thank you.
Oh, otherwise.
Oops. In the drawer on the right of my sink on my way home. Do you see that?
I still can't see the message above that you were referencing. Yes. There you go.
You motherfuckers.
Okay. Yes. I see that.
And then let me scroll up where he ends it with a. You see that?
I do.
What happened in or around March 11th of 2002 with respect to COVID? Do you remember that, Detective?
March 11th of 2020.
2020, yeah, sorry.
Essentially, the world seemed to shut down.
The governor, DeWine, issued a emergency stay-at-home order, did he not?
Correct.
I mentioned that because I was listening to your testimony and it hit me when on direct
Listen to
examination, the
this.
prosecutor was asking you about the frequency of the word love in text
Listen to
messages
this.
between Emily and Matt. You are aware, of course, that Emily had a full-time job. She worked for the government or the state.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to focus on August 2019 to May of 2020. Joey kills himself. Emily takes leave from work, does she not?
That is correct.
For about 3 or 4 months.
Yes.
She then returns to work.
Yes, she does.
The governor's stay-at-home order in mid-March forces her to have to go home and work remotely. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, I would.
So when you talk about how the number of comments for love appeared to be less in March and April, I mean, you would agree with me that she's working at home at that time, right?
I'd agree that she's working from home, yes.
So maybe we don't need to text as much if I'm actually at home with you.
Okay.
Right? Because we know
Okay.
that wasn't working.
Do you guys fucking hear
That's
that?
correct.
And so Emily's
Yeah. Okay.
You all understand the
working
relevance of
remotely.
that, right?
Yeah. It's COVID.
He
Oh.
when he testified. Can you hear me? Or am I in and out?
Yeah.
No, you're on.
All right. He testified when the prosecution was interviewing him or whatever, that they made the point that the amount of times we said love to each other between November when she got her phone of 19 until April, which was a month or two before she went missing, was we used the word love all the time in your typical way. It was just something we would say to each other. We were supporting each other because of Joey. So we really poured on the, hey, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Really, really was, we used love. Hey, love. She called me love. I called her love. And then Grubbs points out at the beginning of April that all stopped. We stopped using the word love, he said. We didn't use the word love at all from April up until she went missing. That's proof that there was trouble in the marriage. Diane just got him to admit that Emily started working from home, so we didn't text at all anymore. It's in the book. But I mean, you do understand that, right? I mean, that's not tough to understand, right? He's fucking lying to you. Is what he's doing. He's fucking Grubbs is lying on the stand.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't have a lawyer. I don't know why. How hard is this to do? It's so fucking easy. This dude's a fucking dummy, and he's a liar. He's lying to you. He's so stupid, or he doesn't care, that Diane's gonna expose him for saying, "Hey, they use the word love all the time," and then the marriage got troubled. So a month before she went missing, they stopped even using the word love. He murdered her, and he knows that she started working from home.
Wait.
We didn't fucking text at all anymore. How dumb
Wait.
is this guy?
That was their best defense. He stopped texting her, "I love you," so that means
It's
he
not
did
a defense, it's a prosecution. And yes, that's one of their big points that they use, that we stopped using the word love in our text messaging. And it was because we had a troubled marriage, and that was evidence that I killed her. She started working from home in April. That's what Diane's showing you, telling everybody. We stopped texting completely because we're in the same house together. We would once in a while text each other, but it would be like, hey, could you bring me my breakfast? Or where are we going to go for lunch today? Shit like that. There was just literally no texting. We text every day prior to that because she worked, and we would, because of Joey, we're supporting each other through this awfulness of losing a son. So we text 8, 9, 10 times a day to each other. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And he used that as, there's the evidence of a troubled marriage. But it wasn't. She started working from home, and Diane's
Shooting a hole right in it.
is lying to you. That is a lie. Would you consider that a lie?
Well,
No,
yeah.
the thing is,
It would be a lie.
They pull the wool. They don't have to tell you anybody that Emily's working from home right now. They
She
don't
just
have
told
to.
everybody that she was. No, my lawyer had to.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't,
That's
because they
why
didn't
you
want you to know
hired
the
her.
real reason why we stopped using the word love. So it's a fucking lie, right?
All he did was point out that you did not say "I love you" 9 times a day.
Right.
That's all he
That's
said.
right.
He did not say it's because that you guys are 15 feet from each other all day long.
No, that's not. You're right, Paul. That's not the way they work.
That's
not
not his job.
But what they
That's
do is they
her job.
insinuate things. And,
Yeah, that's what they do.
Was it his job to misrepresent that we stopped using the word love because she started working from home? That's the truth. Is it his job to get up there and make it appear the way? Yeah, well, he's a fucking liar then. He's just a lie. I consider it a lie. That's what I would consider a lie.
I know what you mean. He's misleading people for his own objective. Basically, he just wants to win.
For him to think that he was going to get away with that with my lawyer, I figured it out when they showed me the text messaging. It's in my book. You have to read it. I figured it out. It took me a minute. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I did stop saying, we stopped texting completely. What happened in April? Oh my God, maybe there was a troubled marriage. I'm in prison right now. They're gonna electrocute me. They're gonna put me. Wait a minute. She started working from home.
Yeah,
No, we stopped
15 feet
texting
away from
completely.
right?
Right?
I text my wife all the time, man. She's in the bedroom, and I'll text her. I'll just say lube. You know, just
Well,
stupid stuff.
Well, let's just say this. Let's just say that one, she's going to literally pick his shit apart. That was number one. Wait for the next thing. She literally picks this man
She's an
apart.
assassin, man.
Right. Let's see the next one then.
Push play, my friend.
Yeah.
From home, as of the governor's stay-at-home order, correct?
Yes.
Mid-March goes into April, right? It goes into May.
Yes.
I'm gonna go back through.
Oh, man.
Well, let's talk about this. This 81 series. These are kind of, we can call them the Matt and Emily argument emails. Text. Can we call them that just so that I can refer to them? Because these are it, right?
Okay.
You would agree with me that at no point in these, maybe it's 10 or 12 pages, certainly the jury can count, does it say, I hate you? Correct?
That's correct.
I want you dead?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Relevant,
Hearsay.
Yeah.
It's cross-examination.
Like it from the record,
what
too.
These text messages do
What an
say.
idiot, man.
You're referring to what?
Objection.
That's
From the
correct.
document.
That's correct.
I just want to make sure I'm clear from your earlier order that,
From the defendant.
Here's that.
These are from the defendant.
as long as we're clarifying that, so we make sure we're talking about the stuff that's supposed to be substantive.
Okay, let me be very clear.
Good point, Sleeper.
Messages from
What
Matt
else?
Moore's phone
What?
do not include the following words.
Go ahead.
Let's go through this. I hate you, correct?
That's correct.
I want you dead, correct?
Correct.
That is never in there. I am going to kill you, correct?
Correct.
I am going to divorce you, not in there, correct?
No.
Yeah, some trouble marriage, that is, isn't
What
it?
you did read was where he said, if you want to divorce me, let me know. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
None of those statements are in the meat of these Emily and Matt argument texts.
That's correct.
Let's go through.
He's back.
Come back to the cell phones, but I'll go through
Different
some of
phone.
This is the criminal mastermind, guys. I say it every week. This is the criminal mastermind.
Right. It's insane. It's insane, man.
Hey.
Matt
be
is a
nice.
complete idiot.
Exhibit 77 and 88. I just printed out a copy. You were shown an electronic copy. If I may, approach your honor, just want to make sure. 77 and 88. That's what we read out.
Like I said.
77 and 88.
He can't even prop up his phone right.
That's what I have.
They already know me, Paul. They know.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to ask you some questions about those, and I'll put them on the screen. These are the same electronic versions that you were shown during direct.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Dylan, can you
these
pause it for
records
1
from J.P.
second?
Morgan.
this guy comes from the forensic side of child porn, correct? That's where his
Oh,
expertise came from, right? Then he got
this
promoted
is
to a detective, correct?
I've mentioned that on an earlier podcast. He was part of a task force out of Columbus that would go online, look
Yeah,
for pedophiles, sick fucking people, right? And
right.
entice them through talking to them sexually, probably, right? I mean, and to get them to meet him somewhere, and then he would go
Yeah.
arrest them. He
So
literally would
he's
create crime. I'm not, be smart enough. We're not advocating for child fucking. Hey, Paul, what's up, dude? I like it.
whatever.
Well, anyway,
The thing I'm saying
it,
is his
he
whole
would
investigation is coming from the data side. He wants to prove his case through the data side because he has no experience in real life.
right. He was
On
a cubicle cop. He was a cubicle.
yeah, he's
cop.
a cubicle cop. So
You
he's
should
trying to present the meat of the case with data so far that I see, because they have zero evidence against you any other way. And she is just literally obliterating him with his own skill set.
That's a good word.
Am I correct here?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, each time she'll pick a point. I'll point it out to you. What she's
And
doing
that's
right now is, I don't really. I mean, just because it doesn't say, "Hey, I want to kill you. I hate you. I'm going to murder you" in my text messaging, I don't think that that's really proof that I didn't. But I mean, what she's doing is she's
but
getting
that's
him
their
to a
whole thing so far, is that it is proof that it is.
right.
And that's what she's knocking out. Am I
What
correct
she's
there,
doing right
Dylan?
now is
Mhm.
she's getting him to agree to her over and over and over. She's getting him to say yes to everything she's saying. Everything she is asking him, he's saying yes. Yes. It's
Yeah,
a tactic.
because it's
It's a
true.
lawyer move. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's that this is lawyering. This is very, very good lawyering. To get the lead
See,
detective to get you to agree to everything
Yeah,
you're
a
saying.
data
And the next thing
guy.
you know, she's
Yeah.
going to set you up and ask you something that you shouldn't be saying yes to, and he's going to say yes to it because he's fucking a numbskull. Yeah, she's brilliant.
the other thing she does well is that she makes a point of saying, when she slammed the papers down, saying, "So there's a hell of a lot more
Yeah.
in here than what you
500
just
pages.
shown us." So that's the whole
There's
point.
way more nice stuff
Um,
than bad stuff. Right, Dylan. Very
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
and her theatrics are fucking fan. If you're a lawyer, watch this trial. If you want to be a lawyer, or you know what I mean, watch this trial. This is perfect lawyering. Perfect. She is literally flawless. She gets nothing wrong. She misses nothing.
All right, that's all I wanted to ask.
Are for two different bank accounts. Is that correct?
That's correct.
One of them, and I'll start with Exhibit 77 because that was the earlier account. Do you recognize that as the face sheet?
Yes.
And this account right here, it has the account numbers. Let me zoom in so the jurors can see it. Do you recognize this, detective?
Yes, I recognize.
Okay. So I just want to go to, if I can, this is Emily Noble's own bank account. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
No one else, his name is on this bank account, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And the amount, it's hard to see here, but would you agree that the total assets is $97,000?
It's hard to see, but that looks accurate. Yes.
If I may approach, Your Honor, because I want to be sure I'm accurate.
Sorry about that.
It's hard to-
Yes.
If you could read the exact amount.
$97,499.82.
Woo!
Thank you.
Money
Dylan,
bags.
stop for a second, just for clarification. there was a lot of allegations about me
You
using
spending
her
all the
money.
money. Yeah.
What that money, there was a we had to have a joint checking account in order for me to get on her insurance. It was something that was demanded by her employer. If Joey and I, if we wanted to get on her insurance, we needed to have a joint bank account. I don't know why, but so she told me that. I said, okay, we'll make my checking account joint, and so you won't have to worry about it. And it was right when we got married. There's some confusion. That bank account was my checking account. That was my $97,000 from my mother's estate. It had nothing to do with Emily. The rest of my mother's estate that I had gotten was in an IRA that was invested, but she had a bunch of cash, and that's what was given to me. And what I did, just right when I got it, was I just threw it in my checking account, and the checking account just happened to be a joint account. So a lot of people were saying, hey, he took money out of her account and used it for this or that. That was my checking account, and they knew that, but they didn't want to bring it up. They tried to make it out, hey, look, he's writing checks, $5,000, these random weird checks. They would never connect any dots. Mighty Meat says it, and Dylan, you know this, and I'm sure Dr. Hines knows. What they do is they inundate the jury with information, so much of it that it doesn't mean anything, but it's a tactic to get juries to think, hey, look at all this evidence. There's something here I'm missing. He's probably guilty. I'm just not getting it. It's literally a tactic that they do, and it works. It just didn't work in my case because I had a lawyer.
It works. It works in your case as well, because there's still people thinking that you paid for your defense with Emily's money.
No, I did not.
To this day, they're still commenting on that on posts from Court TV.
$97,000 is in a joint account, and the joint it was my checking account originally, and then when I had to get onto this insurance, we had to have a joint account to get on the insurance. I put Emily onto my this checking account. It had nothing to do with Emily. Emily never used it. Emily never put money in it. Never took money out. The only reason was for this
her
insurance.
Account. Her paychecks went into her account.
Right. Well, I just explained it.
The joint account.
The joint account was just my account that I attached her to so we can get insurance. A lot of people, and those are the little bits of information that people don't know that they got weird about. No. People are like, I mean, they can take that and they're going to try to make it.
The cops actually have all your deposits for months and months and months, proving that she had no control over your account, the joint account, really.
She had access to that account, but there was no problem.
Didn't use it though.
We didn't have money problems. So that just got, and that's part of like husbands and wives killing each other. They find money problems. We didn't have any. Right. We were flush. We were really flush. That was just the cash that I had on hand. It was just lying around, $97,000 just sitting in my checking account. That's why it wasn't a problem to cut Paul a $5,000 check and Art a $5,000 check for literally doing the nicest thing anybody ever could give to him. I think we talked about giving you 10, and you talked me out.
Yeah, you wanted to give me $10,000.
I was like, here, I got it.
I said no.
Thanks, Paul. You got $5,000 I can borrow, by the way? I could use it now.
Nope, tapped.
Here we are.
Tapped
That was good. That was good.
You were asked about the two. Let me go to Exhibit 80 now. Exhibit 80 is an account that had both Emily and Matt's name on it. Does that sound right?
I don't remember the specific exhibit number, but yes, I remember an account with both their names on it.
One moment.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get something to drink.
Yeah.
Showing you Exhibit 80, just so we can see account title. What names are listed there?
Mathew Moore and Emily Noble.
And it indicates that it's a checking account, does it not?
Yes, it does.
And so, I'm going to get to the balance of this account, if we could. Just give me one moment. If I may approach, Your Honor, it's hard to see. It's so hard to see.
Okay.
And what's that account balance?
The ending balance is $90,923.11.
Thank you. So the one account with Emily's name is roughly 97,000,
Yes.
and the one account with both of their names is roughly 90,000.
Yes.
The two checks that you were shown for the $5,000. Do you remember that during direct examination?
Yes, I do.
Paul Pulver is Matt Moore's stepbrother. Is that correct?
Hey,
I thought it was half brother, but
You know what? You're right. It's his half brother.
okay.
He
oh,
lives in
Diane,
Florida. Does that
screwed
sound
up.
about right?
Yes.
Take that out of your paycheck, Diane.
No, that's
And
good.
the other check for $5,000 to Arturo is a friend of Matt's.
Yes.
Hey, Arturo.
And at no point in this
Arturo.
case, you interviewed Arturo, did you not?
I did not. We actually sent the local FBI office out to interview him.
Because Arturo actually lives in Vegas, where Matt used to live.
Yes.
And Paul lives in Florida. Someone under your direction interviewed Paul as well, did they not?
It was through a phone call. I interviewed him.
Didn't even mention the prosecutor being there though. You notice that?
No, they won't. She got a free trip to Florida, man.
What?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
On your dime, taxpayer.
Close the loop, if I can, on the issue of money. You wrote a summary, an investigative summary of your work in this case, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And tell me if you ever need to refer to it. I have an extra copy, but you are aware, certainly, and included it in your investigative summary, that Matt Moore's mother died prior to Joey dying in 2019. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And when, through the course of your investigation, you learned, did you not, that Matt Moore inherited between $300,000 and $400,000 from his mother when she passed in 2019?
That sounds accurate, yes.
And you also knew that, and you became aware through the course of your investigation, that Emily Noble had a life insurance plan through her work. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you further learned through the course of your investigation that Matt Moore never submitted an insurance claim against that policy. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
He just keeps agreeing with her. She's really good. Just keep him saying yes. I agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
proving that you're innocent.
She's a master.
I wanted to
Really
talk about some, and I warned everyone I was going to jump around.
Jump
There's
around.
some pictures that I didn't show Officer Leckie yesterday, but you are, of course, familiar with the photos from the scene at 46 Abbey Cross that were taken on May 27th during the search warrant, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about showing what the witness has been marked as Defendant's Exhibit L. Detective Do you remember that photograph being taken by law enforcement on the day of the search? If we could display. Oh, that's my job. Oh my goodness. It's up. You know what? Takes a village. Thank you so much. Shoot. Do you remember this photograph that's now been marked as Defendant's Exhibit L being taken during the search?
Honestly, I don't.
Okay. Do you want me to approach so you can see it more closely?
No, I can see it clearly. I just can't recall it in the stack of photos being taken.
Okay. And if you can, you just don't remember this photo being taken. I want to zoom out so that we can look at the photo and then I can orient you to it after I grab another photo. But you see that there appears to be a card, does there not? Like an envelope with what it looks like to say E and M?
Yes.
And if I may approach, Your Honor, with Defendant's Exhibit L, I don't want you to take my word for it, but I just want to be sure that that card is not or was not taken by law enforcement as an item of evidence. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you know that May 24th was Emily's birthday, correct?
Yes.
And so should that have been a birthday card, we don't know the contents or the messaging that was taking place between perhaps Matt and Emily the day of her birthday. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about two other pictures that weren't shown yesterday that I just want to do. Defendant's Exhibit M and N. Showing you what's been marked as Defense Exhibit M. Do you recognize that photograph?
That is one of the bathrooms at 46 Abbey Cross. Yes.
And it appears to be, would you agree with me?
Go on, Matthew.
What?
I know you want to say something. Gotta see that look.
No.
You sure?
Let's go. This is important.
they-
No, Paul mentioned
Yes, I
this.
got a question. Did they do a DNA of the sink and the laundry basket and that carpet and the tile for like chunks of trees?
I wasn't
leaves?
there, Paul, for it. They took me. When they came with the warrant, they took me down for the interrogation. I'm gonna say they scoured that place. BCI.
They did do
OBI,
DNA
the
tests
Ohio.
on all that.
I mean, you would think they would have to. I mean,
Right.
What the relevance of this is the clothes that I was wearing the night before are in that hamper, unlaundered.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And she's about to prove it to you that here's the clothes he was fucking wearing. Did you test them? Did you fucking wait?
And
Wait till what this dummy says.
She's gonna point
That's
out
what
your
I'm gonna do. I'm
shoes
gonna
as
murder
well,
someone,
right?
drag him in the woods, come home. I don't know, man. You just got to take it for what it is. Just listen to Diane. She takes care of it. Did they do DNA testing of all that shit? I don't fucking know.
Yes, sir.
I don't fucking
That's what
know.
I'm asking.
I have no idea.
We'll see. You might say that now. Okay.
That there is a green hamper right here.
That's accurate.
And if you see in here, there appears to be some items.
Yes.
And this was in the secondary bedroom or the
Look at how clean
secondary
I keep my bathroom.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I know.
And we know that because of the orientation right here.
I think that's why Paul asked, did they go in and clean up beforehand? Look for DNA because it's too clean. Bloody hell, man.
Why
That
do
was
you
my-
why
that
do
was
you have
my
a big B on
That
your
was-
floor?
That was Joey in my bathroom. When we first moved in there, Emily literally trained us how to clean and keep a place. I mean, the place we clean every day. You never didn't.
Yeah, even when she was when I was there and it was just 3 guys, we made sure it was nice and clean, man.
Yeah, she had a thing about cleanliness, and it was OCD weird. I mean,
The
and,
house, the house was immaculate. It really
it was immaculate
at all
If
times.
there was a speck of blood or anything that was in that condo, they were going to find it. And they literally found no evidence of any foul play in the condo. And you could eat off the floor right there.
Yeah.
So what they have to do, they had to make the murder happen somewhere else. And that made it real tough for them. So they said, all right, the murder happened in the woods. Well, there's only 40 minutes on my phone the night of the 24th where I'm not on my phone at the house. So they said during this 40 minutes is when I did it.
Yeah, followed
And their time
Emily in the
frames
middle of the
don't
night up a trail, killed her, dragged her through a thicket, hung her, and made it back and turned on your phone and text messaged me.
And started talking to people. And
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well. To answer your question, wait till this is important because she goes into the clothes that I was wearing the night.
Fine.
That I was,
Let's listen to this then.
Of room D.
Correct.
Fair to say that in advance of the search warrant being executed, Matt Moore was not given notice that you were going to descend on that house and execute search warrant.
ooh,
That's accurate.
Right? You didn't let him know you were coming.
Correct.
Right?
he just
So
keeps
in the guest
agreeing
bedroom,
with
we
it.
have this hamper. Now showing the witness what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit N. At some point during the search warrant, the basket was emptied by the officers, was it not? And the clothes were dumped on the floor.
At this point, I wasn't on scene, but I'm assuming that since no one else was in the house, since officers clear it, that yes, it was emptied out by an officer.
And does this picture look
Touching his face.
like it jog your mind of one of the pictures that was taken by the officers during the search?
Yes.
And again, just to orient, I know that we have this picture where the clothes are in the basket, and then this picture where the clothes are next to the basket, and the lid appears to be open here. Would you agree with me, Detective?
Yes.
And you answered the question that I was going to ask because you're smart like that. This
Smart like that.
The house was clear, right? So the only individuals that could move things in the house were the officers.
Correct.
Want to, and it's not real clear here, but does this look like a fair and accurate copy of one of the photographs that was taken by the Westerville Police Department?
Yes.
And the same, I ask you, of Defendant's Exhibit M?
Yes.
It's hard to
That's
see
so
here,
bad.
but this is a plaid
So they
shirt
moved-
here, is it not?
Yes.
Wait, Dr.
And
Hines,
this
wait.
appears
Why
to
did you
be
do
a
it?
black piece of clothing, or something black.
Something black. Yes.
Yes. And then right back here, do you see that? Is another plaid
It's you can barely see it.
piece of
It's
clothing.
underneath.
Do you see
It's
that?
at the top of the picture,
Yes.
and it's underneath that white
And
T-shirt.
if I may, I'm not sure what this
That's
is.
the shirt I was wearing.
I'm showing you now what's been marked.
Diane
as State's
found
Exhibit
that.
83.
There's
Oh.
the
See
shirt I was
that?
wearing. You couldn't
Plaid.
pay this woman enough.
Yes.
You couldn't pay her enough
And it's
to
hard to
figure
see.
that out.
And let me, Your Honor, may I approach?
You think a fucking court-appointed attorney is gonna figure that out? That woman is fucking brilliant. Here's his fucking clothes he was wearing, you
In the
fucking
back
dummy
there.
cop. Did you fucking
The
test
State's
it?
exhibit that I
For
showed you
blood
Because you're
or whatever?
smart like that.
You accused him of smashing her fucking face in. There would be blood all over the fucking place, right? Did you even test the clothes he was wearing that night? No, we didn't do it.
Because you're
You can't
smart
pay
like
for
that.
30,000 pages of discovery. That woman went into 30,000, how many pictures? Hundreds of pictures, and found that a piece of the shirt in a picture and said, that's the shirt he was wearing that night. Underneath that
I'm
shit.
sure they tested that for DNA though.
They didn't,
right?
Paul, they didn't.
That's what I was
They didn't
asking. Why
test it.
why wasn't the whole place
'Cause they're
scrubbed down with the
fucking
DNA?
morons.
Yeah, because
bro.
that's actually very smart. I'm glad you actually highlighted how smart she is, because with this evidence, it actually proves, it shows that this angle that they're going down of you murdering her was an
Yeah.
afterthought, because
Yeah.
you are not the initial witness. There's no way they could have gone to your house and thought this is a murder case. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to move this stuff around. They would have actually
Yes,
tested that clothing if
all
you
of
were
them.
the
The
actual
whole,
subject.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They would have
That's actually
swabbed
smart.
everything. The whole goddamn house should have got swabbed.
The point is that Diane's that good of an attorney. She would literally go into this 30,000 pages of discovery and figure things out. I would ask my Allie, my assistant attorney, and I'd be like, how the fuck did she know that? And she's like, she went into the discovery and figured it out. They can figure things out. They're really smart people. It might not mean anything to a lot of people are getting different things from. Why would it matter about the clothes being there? They're unlaundered clothes that I was wearing the night before, and they didn't even fucking test it for DNA.
Right.
Because
But
it's
yeah,
not like they're not looking for murder.
yeah.
They're just incompetent. They're incompetent. They can't.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you not test it for DNA?
It doesn't make any sense.
They
They care about this case so much, and they believe you're the murderer for this. But yet, the clothing that he's wearing on the day, you couldn't even test it for DNA.
And it took my attorney to go in and point that out to everybody. Keep on going, bro.
Because,
It's just
yeah,
keep rolling.
On direct is from Koble Restaurant taken on May 24th. Is that right?
Yes.
And we know that shirt was a short sleeve shirt, do we not?
Yes.
My mom gave me
That
that
shirt,
shirt.
is
I
that
want
in
that shirt
evidence
back.
at the Westerville Police Department?
Fucking assholes.
Paul, do you have something, Paul?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Honestly, I can't recall. If I could see the list of inventory that was taken from the search warrant, it would refresh my memory.
Well, and because I don't have the evidence log handy, let me ask you this. Fair to say that there is nothing of evidentiary value from any of the clothing items that were taken from the hamper. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And remember
That's
when
correct.
we were watching we watched it, and you certainly have reviewed it, the Officer Hollis video cam footage when he goes to the house initially?
Yes, ma'am.
And Matt Moore goes into the closet and he holds up that black skirt and says, this is what she was wearing last night. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then actually on the day of the search warrant on May 27th, that black skirt is in the same exact location in the closet, is it not? And, sorry?
Do you have a photograph for that?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Okay.
And that black skirt is in physical evidence, isn't it?
Yes.
And I came to the office, to the police department, what was it now, a week or so ago?
Probably about 2 weeks. Yes.
2 weeks now.
Yes.
And you and Lieutenant Alloway and I, we opened up a significant number of brown bags which had physical evidence in those bags, right?
Yes.
And one of the items that was bagged and properly preserved was that black skirt that Emily was seen wearing on her birthday.
Since I was in and out, essentially getting the items out for you and Detective Lieutenant Alloway, I can't speak as to what was in all the bags.
You are aware, though, are you not, that it was seized as evidence, a black miniskirt?
Yes.
I'll show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit O, because it's easier than for me to find. Does this look familiar?
Yes.
And this photograph was taken on the 27th of May.
Yes, it was.
And thinking now to compare this photograph versus the body cam from Officer Hollis on the 25th. Do you remember when Matt Moore walks into the closet on May 25th, right to this area, and holds up a black item and says, this is her miniskirt?
Yes, I do.
And this photo we know is from May 27th, so 2 days later. And there appears, does it not, to be a black item in that same or similar location.
Yes.
And fair to say that when you're executing a search warrant, your purpose there is truly, as the search warrant application says, to find items of evidentiary value.
Yes.
That's why you're there. You're looking for any possible evidence of trace evidence, right? So blood spatter, hairs, fibers, anything that might indicate to you that there was some sort of crime committed there, right?
That's correct.
You would certainly take anything that you saw that you thought it might not be of evidentiary value, but if it could be, best practices, you'd take it, would you not?
That's correct.
So no DNA on her skirt either, apparently.
Well,
Diane does not know. At this point, Diane does not know. No one's told anybody the prosecutor's version of events. Diane's covering that they didn't find any evidence of foul play at the condo. So it couldn't have happened at the condo, right? She's covering that. So there, and to this day, on the Dateline, if you watch the Dateline, Sleeper says, we don't know whether he killed her at the condo or in the woods. He knows that it did not happen at the condo. There isn't any evidence there that it did. Diane's pointing out that if something did happen at the condo, there would be evidence there. Right. I'm saying that because Sleeper, the assistant DAA, the little guy with the beard, is still lying to this day on Dateline. Right. He lies a couple of times, and that's a lie. He would have, if he thought that the murder happened at the condo, he would have mentioned it during his closing arguments. He does not. And Diane doesn't know what they're going to say. She's just covering all her bases. During final argument, when you make your final argument, you're not allowed to cross. Diane's not allowed to get up there and say, hey, this and that. This is it. That's when they come out with their version of events. And they have me killing her in the woods because there isn't any evidence at the condo that it could have happened. So what she's doing right now, just know that she doesn't know where they're going to say I did this. So she's literally covering.
She knows it's coming, but she don't know.
Just for lawyers, if you're like, if you want to be a lawyer, or if you're into lawyering, this is what she's doing. She's covering everything, and then right at the last minute, they're like, he killed her in the woods, and she's just like, oh yeah, really? Wait till you see what she does with that. But that's what she's doing right now. She doesn't know that they're going to say, well, I already said, I repeat myself. You guys know what I'm talking about.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
What's marked as I'm being challenged on my alphabet. Defendant's Exhibit P. Detective, I know you haven't been shown this photo before, but I ask you if you recognize it.
Seamless.
Yes, I do.
She's fucking seamless, man.
Where was this photo obtained from during the course of the investigation?
This is a photo from Matt Moore's iPhone.
Which was, based on the data, this was taken on May 24th of 2020, was it not?
That's correct.
And this area where it's taken, I know we heard some testimony from Amy Thomas, but this is called the Field of Heroes, correct?
That is correct.
I just want to draw your attention. Do you see those shoes that Emily Noble is wearing in that picture?
I do.
And so we know that this is the day of her birthday, the day before she goes missing, do we not?
That's correct.
And do you see it looks as if there's some kind of shoes, and then there's like a black right there, almost like a sock that's peeking out. Do you see that?
Yes.
Showing you what's been previously marked as Defendant's Exhibit H. Do you see those?
I do.
This photograph was taken on May 27th of 2020 when the search warrant was executed, is it not?
That's correct.
And these shoes seem to indicate that it looks like there's some socks in them.
Yes.
And we know that they're in the garage because of the marker.
Yes.
I'm just going to show once I clear. Let me approach, if I can, Your Honor, with Defendant's Exhibit H and Defendant's Exhibit P. Detective, would you agree that the shoes or the booties that Emily Noble is wearing on May 24th of 2020 appear to be same and similar as those that are just sitting in the garage at 46 Abbey Cross on 5/27/2020?
Yes, they are same or similar.
Because State's Exhibit 7 and 8 were shown to you. Remember this photo, Detective?
Yes, ma'am.
Where you were shown that when Matt Moore's walking in here, this cooler is in this position right here.
Yes.
Right? Do you see how there's actually a cord hanging down from here? Do you see that? And I'm happy to approach.
I can see it.
Yes. So we've got the orange electrical cord on top of the cooler, and then we've got the cord hanging down. Right?
Yes.
And then you know from watching Sergeant Hollis's body cam video that there's twice that he leaves the house and leaves Matt Moore alone in the house, correct?
That's correct.
The first time when he's over talking to John Kramer, and then the second time where he's out talking to officers, and the second time was about a half an hour or so. Does that sound right?
Sounds accurate.
And at no point in time did Sergeant Hollis ever say, don't touch anything in the house, did he?
No, we did not.
Nor did he say, come outside with me because I don't want anything disturbed inside, right?
That's correct.
So then Officer Hollis comes back in, and Matt says, wait a second. This seems odd, right? Because there's this cord isn't usually here. The cord is hanging here. Do you remember when he told Officer Hollis that?
I do.
You would agree with me that yes, the cooler has been moved. It's almost as if he went over there when Officer Hollis was gone and noticed it was out of place, and so the cooler's moved, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Well,
I was just saying that.
okay. So they were asked these questions about the cooler's moved and there's a flashlight there. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That you would agree with me that the electrical cord is still in the exact same or similar position in both photos. It's hanging down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There it is.
And so if the electrical cord or the cooler were of evidentiary value, I am sure that the officers would have seized any or all of those things. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
And nothing from here was seized, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
In other words, the
Bad.
detectives really
Right.
do care. The detectives really do care about this case the way you're portraying it.
Yeah. What a mess.
They really do believe he did this. That's
You
why
do
they
know
put
the
so much
significance
effort.
of the cord, right? I mean, you guys understand.
Yeah, you
There's-
covered it before.
It's not the cord. They made it look like they tried to make it look like I took the cord down off the hook and put it on the cooler, and then I brought attention to it as trying to get them to think that was Emily looking for something to hang herself with. That cord was on top of the cooler the whole time. The first picture you saw was the first picture of Hollis going through my garage. The cord was on the cooler. Get it? It's stupid, right? Then the next time they see it, the cooler's been moved over, but the cord is still there. So they're saying that that's evidence of me moving that cord down. She says down
in her argument. They lie. They try to make you think I took that cord down and put it on top of the cooler, like I said, and then I brought attention to it. Look at, here's this cord. It's not supposed to be here. And then later on, they figure, well, that must have been Emily looking for something to hang herself with. All I did was move the cooler over, trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. I was all over my kind of looking for clues. Did I move the cooler over? Apparently I did. Did I put the flashlight there? Apparently I did. But the thing that was really weird is if you look at everything in the house, Emily was meticulous. That cord didn't belong there. That cord belonged hanging up. That cord being on the cooler and just sitting there was out of character. It might not be weird for some people, but for me, and I knew Emily, that cord being there was fucked up. And that's why I brought attention to it. Because you know why? You know what that was? That was Emily looking for something to hang herself with. You fucking dumb cops. And then they use it as it's evidence that I'm so smart that I can manipulate the scene. That I'm fucking... Are you fucking kidding me?
Everything Matt is saying is very valid because I have dated someone that's had OCD. I'm not saying that's what Emily has. I don't know. Matt can speak to it if that's the case.
Everything had its place, doctor. And that cord was so out of place. And the dude was like, this is another thing. The dude, the Hollis guy that's there, asked me, he's like, all right, I'm going to go out and talk to some neighbors. What I need you to do is just, if you see anything out of place, let me know. And I'm like, okay. And I saw something that was out of place. So I mentioned it. Not thinking in my head, we've been through this before, I think, on this podcast. Not, I'm just like, hey, listen, this is weird. This does not belong here because everything had its place. Everything. And that was out of place. So I mentioned it to him. And then for them to take it and be like, well, because the cooler was moved, he's obviously manipulating the scene. They literally had to come up with shit that was so unbelievably, you got... I don't know how, and that's a huge piece of evidence that they said that I put that cord there. I did.
That's the actual evidence
against you. That cord was there, was on top of the cooler when they got there. So how is Matt moving the cooler over going to do it and make anything different? It's literally they needed to come up with a story, and they that's what cops do. They go in. Experienced cops are probably way better at this, but these cops are so rookie. They didn't know what they're doing. They looked at that and they thought that's evidence. It's how the fuck is that evidence?
Yeah, I was going to add to your point earlier in regards to the it being our place, because in all fairness, if that was my ex doing something like this, I would have done exactly what you've done. It's like, yeah, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. This doesn't look right, because like you put, it's all about the patterns and what they like, their behavior and how they would not react, but it's all about what they are accustomed to. That's the word. That's what I'm looking for. What they are
asked,
accustomed to.
I was just doing. I wasn't panicked, but I was and when I mean fully cooperate, I was fully cooperating. So I was looking for something that was out of place, anything, and I'm like, that's out of place. So I brought it to their attention because they asked me to bring things that were out of place to their attention. I literally was cooperating 100%. Why else would I do something like that if you think I'm that smart and that clever to bring it up? And they'll say, he just brought it up out of the blue. We didn't ask him anything. All of a sudden, he's bringing us to this cord. One of the first things they asked me was, if you see anything out of place, let me know. It was just an hour later. You know what I mean? So they try to manipulate it like,
that would destroy.
And they do this. This is what, and he's still doing it, doctor. He's on TV, on these channels, still doing it, still lying. They said that I brought up suicide during House interview. I'm like, suicide, man. I don't know. My son just committed suicide, so it's like it's marinating in my head that Emily fucking killed herself. But I'm like, so I brought it up, and they're like, we didn't even mention suicide. We didn't ask him. All of a sudden, he's just bringing up suicide. It's obviously he's trying to dictate the narrative. That's the fucking cliche fucking thing to say in today's world, right? Dictate the narrative. That's the first thing they asked me when they came to the house. Is she mental? Does she have like ever thought about killing herself? Just because you don't, I said, no, she's not any other crazy than anybody else. An hour later, as we're mentally going through this thing, trying to figure out what happened, I bring up suicide because it was a possibility. Who can't, I mean, just because I don't say it right then, they're like, oh, look, he's mentioning suicide. We didn't even ask him about suicide. Yeah, you did. You did when you first got there. I just didn't say anything about it until we're into trying to figure out what was going on. They're lying. They're trying to build a story that's not true. They're still doing it. It should be illegal. They're on 60 Minutes and fucking Dateline and whoever else listen to this fathead pig because he's trying to fucking control that he fucked up wait until you hear what his wife said about him. Dude,
Well,
this dude's a fucking criminal. He's a fucking criminal, man. He's a liar. And he's all about getting promoted. And he used my wife's suicide for his own gain. He should be fucking this. The people of Westerville need to know. The people that are working, there's bad people everywhere, right? There are bad people in government. If you're a sociopath, if you like to hurt other people and you're smart, where are you going to go? You're going to become a cop. You got free license to fucking do it, to hurt people. He's a sociopath. This guy's a fucking sociopath. Just look at him. I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go. No, my argument's running thin, but just know that this dude is fucking lying. He's lying.
Let's listen to a bit more of him. Yeah, let's listen to a bit more of it.
I want to talk about a few more things in the garage, if we could. You looked, did you not, at receipts of things that Matt Moore had purchased in the days leading up to May 25th, 24th of May. Did you not?
Yes.
And in particular, you found a couple of transactions at Home Depot and, Home Depot. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
From March 15th of 2020, there was a order total of $26.19. Do you remember that?
I do.
And you indicated that in your report on page 63. I assume you remember through your investigation that the receipt was determined to be for a Nature's Care soil. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I'm not disputing it's
Nope.
in the progress.
Happy to, Your Honor, may I approach? Just, if it would refresh your recollection.
Absolutely.
I just snipped it from your
All
report.
right, thank you. Okay.
Showing you what's previously been marked as defendant's Q. And I only show you this just about this issue of things being moved or not moved. Does this picture look familiar to you? I know it was not shown during the direct examination of Lighty, but have you seen this picture before?
Yes.
And does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of this corner of the garage, 46 Abbey Cross?
Yes.
And this is capturing that area as of May 27th of 2020. Do you
Yes.
agree with me?
That's correct.
And you see this right here. The bag that's purchased a couple months prior is just sitting right here in the garage. Do you see that, Detective?
Yes.
And in fact, you can read right here. It says Nature's, does it not? Nature's Care, and it's potting mix.
Yes.
And that purchase was made in March, and it was still in the garage in May, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
There was also a lot of discussion about vodka. And you would agree with me that earlier today we heard your interview of Matheau Moore at the station on May 27th, and you asked him the question about whether he and Emily went home after the bars and whether he continued to drink. Do you remember you asking Mr. Moore that?
Yes.
And he said, sometimes I sip vodka, but I don't have any at the house right now. Do you remember him telling you that?
Yes, I do.
Fair to say, surely, that when the officers searched the house, right, again, Matt Moore not knowing that you were coming, there was no open bottles of vodka, right?
Not that I was aware of.
There was no, and of course the pictures speak for themselves,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So if we, or the jurors were to look at all the bottles, no open bottles of vodka, right?
Correct.
Not on the counter or in the trash, right?
Correct.
And speaking of that, it wasn't mentioned, but I want to mention it. In addition to one of the investigative things that you did in this case, you also did a trash pull at 46 Abbey Cross, did you not?
That is accurate.
Trash pull is another really great investigative process, or it could be sometimes, right?
Yes.
Because someone could dispose of sheets or towels, or there might be other things of evidence that, while aren't in the house, are perhaps in the trash that are intended to be disposed.
Can I say something?
Right?
Ellen? Paul's here for this. One of the big pieces of evidence against me was that I was smoking in the condo the day I called her in on Monday. Emily would have never have allowed smoking in the condo. I mean, she's just, though she was a smoker at one time and she vaped, lighting up in that condo wasn't an option. John Kramer testifies that he saw me smoking or smelled smoke in the condo. No one else says, and all the other people that were there, Grubbs and all these other people, all these cops and people that were around, no one else saw me smoking. But this guy, John Kramer, says, hey, he was smoking, which would have been compelling evidence if all of a sudden I'm lighting up in a condo, on that Monday.
Yeah.
Hey, was I smoking, Paul, when you came there? Do you remember?
No.
Do you remember me? I bumped some cigarettes from you, right? A couple times.
Yeah,
maybe here or there.
Anytime you smoked and every time I smoked, we went out front.
Out front. And
every single time.
Was I sitting in the condo with an ashtray next to me, lighting up cigarettes, going, gee, I don't know where Emily is. Boy, So, as far as that being evidence, I didn't start smoking in the condo until after Paul left, which was almost 3 weeks later. I was a smoker at some point in my life. After 3 weeks, I started drinking and I started smoking in the garage, and then I eventually made it into the house where I was smoking in the condo. But it was 3 weeks later. So, I mean, I can understand why people might think that that's evidence if I was smoking on that Monday, Tuesday, that first week I'm blazing up in the fucking condo, because I knew she wasn't going to come home, but that was not the case. John Kramer lied. You know why John Kramer lied? He was the last person to see her alive, dude. He was the last person to see her alive. We've been through this. He saw her Monday morning between 9:30 and 10. And the cops went up to him and said, Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you saw her? Because it didn't fit, that would ruin their case against me. She was seen by someone between 9:30 and 10 on Monday, the 25th. Right?
Right.
Well, all of a sudden, no, I can't remember. She might have been, I might have seen her the day before. The day before we were in Butchville, Ohio, between 9:30 and 10. So that ruins that. So, he was smoking. All right. So 3 weeks after she goes missing, he sees me smoking. Next thing you know, I'm smoking on Monday as soon as I call her in. If I would have been smoking on Monday or Tuesday that first week, other people would have seen me. Other people would have noticed it. They would have came into the condo and said, boy, it smells like smoke in here. All of her friends that were over, You know, they would have been like, what are you smoking in this fucking house for, man? What are you, crazy? Because that would have been a huge thing for me to do. Paul knows. Paul was a smoker at the time. His ass was outside smoking, and I wasn't smoking in the condo. And I bummed a few off of him. Like, it was stressful, man. We were out like searching all the time. So I mean, I would fucking, and I'm a hippie. Hippies bum cigarettes. But I wasn't smoking in the condo on that Monday or that first week. There was no smoking going on in the condo. So
Right.
And Paul will attest to that.
You did a trash pull at Abbeycross, did you not?
Yes, we did.
Tell the
And there
jurors
would have
where you
been
pulled the trash up.
cigarette butts in the fucking trash pull.
Trash.
Right. Why would they not look at that to prove their case? Absolutely.
They used that as evidence against me that I was smoking in the condo on that Monday. They go into the trash and they're all through the house and there's no evidence of any cigarette smoking. This is how good Diane is at being a lawyer.
From in front of the residence the morning of the 27th.
Right? In one of the trash bins.
Trash can. Yes.
Trash can. So, and I asked that because it wasn't from like a trash can that's under the sink or anything. You actually went into like the trash bin that was outside the house, right?
Yes.
And you looked through it with the mindset of what in here might be of any possible evidentiary value, correct?
Yes,
You found nothing.
that's correct.
Just gonna go through. I'm cognizant of my time, so let's go to Joey. Just generally the top.
Joey.
Joey was found hanging from a tree branch in July of 2019.
Correct.
And that was within Westerville that took place.
Yes.
The park where he was found, what is that called?
Boyer Nature Preserve.
And fair to say that through the course of your investigation in this case, you became aware of Joey's suicide.
Yes.
It was not a case file that had been assigned to you when it happened.
No.
But fair to say, as part of your investigation in this case, which I'm sure you would say was thorough,
Yes.
you went back and looked at the case file with respect to Joey.
Correct.
And you looked at the photographs because those were still within the custody and control of Westerville?
Detective Wright did.
Detective Wright did?
Yes.
Under your direction, but as part of your investigation?
Correct.
And there were still photographs of that, of Joey as he was found hanging.
Yes.
And if you recall from your review and investigation of all the work done in this case, a runner was on a path and actually had discovered him in the morning hours.
That's correct.
Fair to say that in relation to Emily's missing and the investigation that followed between May 25th, 2020 and Matt Moore's arrest in June of 2021, that you as the lead detective on this case went back and really looked closely at the circumstances surrounding Joey's suicide.
What do you mean looked closely?
You looked at the case again,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You went back and you looked at it.
Sure.
And Joey's death was determined to be a suicide at the time when it happened. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's still the finding as of today, is it not?
That is correct.
And I
need to
want to
stop
talk
right there.
about, and I assume you know this.
There the Vanished podcast and Amanda Coleman, people that listen to those true crime podcasts. There's one called The Vanished. They still have they did a 3-part series on me, 3 pieces on my case prior to me being acquitted. Since I've been acquitted, they've said one thing. They said he was acquitted. That's it. They They are still saying that there's an open investigation on Joey's death. They're lying. People that listen to those fucking podcasts, you're being manipulated. They're manipulating stories to get you to watch so that they can sell advertisement. They are telling you, they're trying to make me out to be a serial killer, that I killed Joey and then I killed my son who died back in the 90s. To make the story interesting. And part of creating that interest is there are still to this day saying that there's an open criminal investigation on how Joey died. That cop just told everybody that there never was an investigation. It was a suicide. And after even going back and looking at it, it was deemed a suicide. You're being manipulated by media. Yeah. Media is horrible. What the media did to me is fucking criminal. It's slanderous. It's libelous. And it's happening now with all media. I don't want to get too political, but the media is so fucking horrible now. Does everybody notice it? They're just lying. They say whatever they want to say. It's fucking horrible. I called lawyers. I called lawyers. Hey, can we sue these people? Like those Vanish podcast people. Why bother? They don't own nothing. They're fucking. They might have 2,000-3,000 listeners. There's a billion trillion people in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like what they did to me in the media is horrifying, and they did it in conjunction with the Westerville Police Department, which is criminal. The Westerville Police Department told this Vanish podcast that I failed the lie detector test. And then the Vanish podcast comes out and is still saying it to this day that I failed the lie detector test. Once the community, the people hear that you failed a lie detector test, you're done. You're guilty. But they don't work. They're not admissible in court. You know why? Because they don't fucking work.
Like, I'm surprised why they don't caveat that. That's a very important that's a very important information to actually put out there, because you can't just go around saying this guy has failed the lie detector test and this is not even a factor in his
fuck calls the cops up during an active murder investigation, and the cops go, yeah, he failed a lie detector test and he stormed out of the fucking interrogation. It's is that legal? Can you do that? By the way, I didn't fail the lie detector test. It's called a voice inflection test. It's a scam. What they do is they make you take it, or you volunteer to take it. I volunteered to take it because I wasn't lying. I'm like, this is great. They'll take their eyes off of me and try to find her. Oh no, you failed it. No, you did. They just say that. They just tell you that. Yeah. It's a trick. Everyone knows this. But the Vanish podcast has it on their show. It's Dylan. Dylan's a different type of journalist. I watch Dylan's shit. You're gonna get truth. This is what this is right now. Go to the Vanish podcast and just listen to what they produce. It's fucking garbage, literally, for morons, for littler Karens. You know what a Karen is, right?
Yeah.
I had to say that. Yeah. There's no place better you're going to get truth than this podcast about this case. All the rest of those, there's like 15 podcasts out there about my case. Garbage, all of it. They don't care about truth. They're trying to get you to click and like them and fucking listen to them so that they can sell advertisement. That's not what
it's weird.
That's not what Dylan and me are doing right now. We're not trying to fucking sell you advertisement. Trust me.
It's weird you say all that, because I made a post on Twitter today about because I'm seen as a quite boring YouTuber, because I just tell the truth. Yeah, I just tell the truth. You know, there's no side.
You don't try to make things. You don't lie to make things interesting. The Vanish podcast literally lie to their listeners to get them to listen, and that proves it right there. Grubbs just told all you guys that there's no investigation, never was, about Joey and his suicide. But go and listen. Don't even bother going and listening to the Vanish podcast. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. They're saying that there's still to this day an open investigation. There's still people out there saying they're hoping to get that Emily gets justice this year. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I read that too.
What the fuck? Are you fucking do you really think that the Westerville Police Department wants anybody to know anything about what just happened with this case? They want you all to forget about it. They're not investigating shit. They're trying to find other people to fucking fuck.
Yeah, it makes sense now based on what you just brought out because they were really incompetent on the day. So why would they want to advertise? Why would they want to go out and tell the truth when it would actually harm them?
Yeah. No, they don't want.
Yeah,
they don't
so
want
it goes back to what you said in regards to advertising, going for that advertising working for the
sensationalism, right? Dr.
that's the one.
Sensationalism.
But in terms of the podcast, like that's why they're airing them because they know in their head that this is the officers speaking, so they have weight. So there is no cause for us to challenge them. It's a win-win for them, really. When you think about it, it's a win-win for them. They can go through the whole podcast not challenging anything that they say because technically no one is going to expect them to do that. Whereas if you were to go on there, they will challenge you because that's what everyone expects them to do. But so I'm really glad that you brought that out in regards to Dylan being the only person that's actually interested.
And Dylan has said this.
So go on.
Dylan has said this, and I've said this. If Grubbs wants to come on this show and debate me, fucking come on. I'm talking to your wife now, dude. You know what I mean? I'm in your circle. Come on this show. Come on, Dylan.
My bro, his wife.
You can say whatever you want. You can lie.
Sir.
Bring it on, Grubbs. I'm fucking right here, man. Maybe we'll have your ex-wife on too, and you can argue with her, and you can argue with me, and you can.
Oh, I'd love to have her.
What a great guy.
Pull up. Hey, let's pull up
scumbag.
text messages from both phones, his and yours, for the last 6 months, and go over them.
Yeah. See how you treat your wife compared to how I treated Emily, who I loved.
Exactly.
My core, and I never called her a fucking cunt. I'll tell you that. Never even came close to that. How many times you called your wife a fucking cunt? You fucking scumbag. The worst thing you can say to your wife is call her a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
And apparently that's his favorite thing to do. Fucking dirtbag. Okay.
Right.
Don't watch
we
the
got about
podcast. Mighty
Don't watch it.
Mighty Meat and the alternate corner. I don't know. Should I advocate for Mighty Meat, Dylan?
I like Mighty Meat. Yeah. I like Mighty Meat.
He's political. He's a bit political, but he is an ex-federal law enforcement. He used to be a cop. What a great source of information. And he hates police. It's great, right?
No, Mighty Meat is somebody that I advocate on this channel. There's not many I advocate on this channel, but he's definitely one of them. Heinz is another one.
And Dog Mama, right? Dog Mama is fucking
cool Dog Mama, yeah. No, I think most people know who I hate. I don't like many people, so yeah. You know, if they're not here and I don't say the name, I don't like them. So, right,
we're gonna get you going. We're gonna get you going. The alternate corner, man. I dig your thing. That Zachary thing. You can talk about that. I mean, to try to get that kid out of. I mean, this kid. There was as much evidence against him as there was me. He's in fucking prison for murder, and he didn't do it. He didn't. I mean, he had a bad judge, man. He had a really bad judge.
Yeah.
And your show's trying to get him out of there. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. It's beautiful. It really is what you do. Yeah. Thank you for having me on too, man. I mean, like my brother says, if it wasn't for you, where would I be?
No. Hey, fucking hell. Right. Anyway, let's stop all that bullshit. Let's get on with it. You know, we got 10 minutes left on this. We got Matt for 10 minutes, and then we'll call it that. I need to go at 1:30. So. Yeah, but before we go, there's another full day, I believe, of this as well. So, just in case people think this is the end of it, no. Diane's back again. There's a lot. There's a lot of this. So next week we're back again. In case I do forget, Paul, if you want to come back next week, the week after, you're more than welcome to come back anytime you want, Paul. You know,
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No,
I really appreciate you guys.
No, if you can. Jump on. Matt will send you a link every week, so if you want to come on, mate, just come on. Right, here we go.
Through your experience in training, there's two different types of hangings, are there not? There's what we call an incomplete hanging and a complete hanging.
That's correct.
Incomplete's a little deceptive, I think, but I'll start with complete. Complete, is it not? And please tell me if I'm wrong, is when someone hangs themselves, let's say from a tree, and they are suspended in free form. That is, they are not touching the ground.
That's correct.
And then there's something called an incomplete hanging, which doesn't really sound as if what it is, right?
That's fair.
An incomplete hanging is when someone, for instance, could hang themselves, let's say, on a doorknob, right?
Yeah. Yes.
They could actually be sitting on the ground and hang themselves on a doorknob, right?
Yes.
And so incomplete is when you're on the ground but able to hang yourself. And complete is when you're hanging and not touching the ground.
Correct.
And I just want to be clear about that. Joey's was a complete hanging.
That's correct.
And we know that when Emily was found in the woods, is that she was in, as you told the jurors, she appeared to be on her knees, but on the ground.
Correct.
I want to show you what I will mark as mark. Showing you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit R. You've not been shown this picture before.
I've seen it before.
Oh, I meant in the trial.
Yeah. Okay.
But you've seen it before, certainly, right?
Yes.
And I know that you were at the scene on May 27th, on September 16th of 2020, correct?
That's correct.
When the remains were found.
That's correct.
Just want to go over, and does this appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of how the remains were when you arrived at the scene?
It does.
Just want to, that this tennis shoe that I circled, you would agree with me that it's actually still on the leg there.
That's correct.
And in fact, as you later watch the remains be removed, the shoe was not separate and apart from the remains. It was still literally on the skeletonized foot.
Correct.
I want to ask you to look at this hand right here. Do you see those fingers?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that this appears to be the thumb and then these are the fingers right here?
Yes.
And this is the leg?
That's correct.
And this appears to be, does it not, a cloth over the right hand?
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
And we know from the positioning that the leg is bent, right, like this?
Correct.
And she's on the ground like that.
Correct.
She's on the ground like this. Is that correct?
That's,
and the fingers are shown there.
well, her left leg obviously is not the same as yours, but yes.
And next to her, Emily's remains, was found a water bottle. Was it not?
That's correct.
And I just wanted to talk to you about the lab results that were done with respect to the water bottle. There was contents in the water bottle, correct?
There was a liquid, yes.
And you took a sample of that liquid and had it submitted for testing.
That's correct.
Fair to say that when you took the sample to have it submitted for testing, it was noted to be peachy in color. Do you remember that description of it?
Yes, I do.
And in fact, when I came to look at the physical evidence, the color of the liquid inside the bottle is still peachy, is it not?
That's correct.
And that was submitted and tested, and it was determined, you would agree, that the liquid that is a peachy color was plus or minus 6.3% alcohol.
Correct.
Tell the jurors the proximity of the water bottle from the remains as it was found.
It was right next to the remains.
On the left side.
On Emily's left side, yes.
Staying at the scene, you are aware of Emily Noble's height, I presume.
Yes.
And tell the jurors how tall she was.
Just over 5 foot tall.
She's just over 5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And not that you would, but of course we're as tall as we are, and then we could potentially raise our arm like this.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Moore do you know his exact height?
Not off the top of my head anymore, no.
Would it refresh your recollection if I were to show you a Westerville police sheet?
Yes.
Thank you. If I may approach you on.
Okay.
And if that refreshes your recollection, how tall is Mathew Moore?
6 foot even.
Thank you. And the tree branch where Emily Noble was found hanging from, that tree branch was measured from the branch to the ground, was it not?
Yes.
And it was 6 foot 3 inches tall, or in distance.
Yes.
So between the branch and the ground is 6 feet 3 inches.
Yes.
So if I'm 6 feet tall and I'm looking at that branch, the branch would probably be like kind of right here, right? It would just be 3 inches over my head.
Correct.
If I'm 5 feet tall, the branch would be, well, a foot over my head.
Correct.
What's their point? What's he getting at?
If I'm not mistaken, it's more probable.
Don't know, break.
It's more probable that Emily hung herself than Matt going to do it to make it seem like it was suicide.
Yeah,
that's what I'm guessing. I don't know.
I
I don't know. I could have missed details.
How would I get her in there in the dark and find a branch that was the perfect height to do this? Partially suspended hanging in the pitch dark.
Because you, sir, because you, sir, on top of being a criminal mastermind, you are also Batman who sees in the dark.
Batman.
who was actually bitten by a bat. So you actually have bat powers.
I got a question.
You ever walk around in the woods?
Yeah.
You ever walk around in the woods off trail at night? You can't walk 3 steps without falling fucking down. There's fucking sticks and branches. How the fuck did anybody ever do this? She did it
I got a question.
on Monday. John Kramer saw her leave on Monday morning. She did it.
I got a
Tuesday.
question.
Yeah.
How did you not fall completely apart? How do you have composure when you're seeing these photographs?
Yeah.
It must have. You must have just wanted.
When
to,
I was in trial, it was really hard.
I know.
Really
That's what I'm asking, right?
dude.
'Cause-
I'm being in jail for 15 months, being tortured, not knowing whether I was gonna make it through it. God, really? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I remember talking to you during that, and that's what you kept saying to me all the time.
God.
Yeah.
I found God,
Yeah.
and it's.
You're-
I don't talk about it much because I don't feel like I have the right. But literally, I talked to you weekly when I was in jail, didn't I? Well, at some point we
daily,
started communicating,
daily.
right?
Yeah, daily.
I was.
But I just never asked you just how were you able to hold yourself together, man? It was just insane. I was so proud of you. How you
losing Joey and Palmer, my sons. After something like that, dude, you just imagine Matt and Mike weren't around anymore in your life, and they come and arrest you. It's kind of like, yeah, fuck you, you know? I mean, what else are you gonna do to me? When you lose your children, bro,
yeah.
there's nothing really you can't handle. You know what I mean? I mean, after
Right.
that, I mean, I'm ready for it. And now after this, I mean, you might think I'm a cold guy, you know? Like, look, he can just look at those pictures and not break down crying. Yeah, I'm hard as a rock. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not. What are you gonna do to me? You gonna tell me I have cancer? Oh no, God forget. You know, ooh, big deal. big deal. And not the, you know what I'm saying. You get
Yeah,
hard,
yeah.
man. You get super hard, and
I don't know. I was balling.
it was like the police part of this took my attention away from the fact that I just lost Emily.
Right. Right. All right. Thank you. That was my question.
I'm glad you asked the question because I was
Yeah.
I wanted to ask the question, but it's
It was like a
appropriate coming from you,
diversion,
Paul.
literally a diversion. And but
Let's see how much was left. I'm
A few
not
minutes
sure.
late. Sorry. You were gonna remind me.
He said you actually pulled the clock.
Fair enough.
Counting on you. We'll resume where you left off.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Right, that's the end of that one. We end that day until next Saturday. I'm going to move that. Get us
Thanks,
all back
guys.
on here. No,
Well,
thank you,
thank
mate.
you.
It's great. It's great. Paul, you're a great
It's-
addition. I love it. I love having Paul on here. He's giving us. It's great to hear from you, Matt, but it's also great. Like it's great to hear from Connie. It's great to hear from Paul, just giving us that little insight as well. He watched this trial live as well, and also, there's some questions that's hard for me and people to ask. Where it's nice to have Paul here to ask some of those questions, like how the fuck do you deal with all this? Do you know what I mean? So really appreciate you, Paul, as well, man. Honestly, as I say, open invite for you, Paul. Any week you want to, or you're able to come, please do so because you're a great addition as well. So,
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, guys. I really do, man. You're the only ones putting his name out there, and he just got so dicked over by everybody, his own family. It's incredible.
yeah, and that's a lot we've learned today as well. So thanks for that. That's
Thanks,
those are
man.
things that
Appreciate it.
we don't know. So yeah,
Well,
He's all right.
I usually get out of here about this time. Again, anybody that has any questions at all, when you're watching this and you're like, that doesn't make sense, there's a way to get a hold of us. We'll even have you on if you want. I mean, I'm here to try to get the truth out about this story, about my story. So, guys, thank you. I'll see you guys next week. I hope, everybody.
next week, yeah, I'll say,
All
Paul.
right.
Hopefully, see you
Peace.
all another week,
All
mate.
right.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Doctor,
Sorry,
see you
see you
later.
See you later. Very nice to meet
All
you,
right.
Paul. I'm very
Yeah,
nice to
you
meet
too.
Matt.
Thanks a lot, bud.
No
No,
worries.
all right.
Right. So, Dr. Hines, thank you as well, my friend, for being here.
No worries. Thank you so much.
No, that's fine. I mean, that was, and I don't joke. It is great to have Paul here. I hope he is here because there are certain questions that I find I can ask Matt anything I want, but there's a few things I know that triggers him a little bit
Right.
emotionally. So to get Paul to ask it is I think a lot more appropriate. But why? Paul, thank you, Paul. Thank you, my friend. Just so you know, guys, I know there was questions and stuff. I just didn't think it was quite appropriate to ask some of these questions right now. Just you, as I know you've asked a lot of questions about Diane, so keep them in mind because Matt wants to answer questions on Diane, but on a separate video. So any questions about Diane or anything like that, keep them in mind. We will ask them. Don't think that I won't. We will. But he wants to do it after the trial about Diane, about his relationship, how they conducted business together and stuff like that. So, so just don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm definitely not. But please ask the questions again. But yeah, and also it was quite hard to find time today because, this is Matt's platform. I want to make sure he has his time as well. So, yeah. So, and I've not read the chat. I apologize, chat. I've not kept up to date. I switched it off for a while just because I was trying to concentrate on the trial. So, yeah. Heinzie, what have you got coming up, man? What's happening in your world as well?
I'm releasing all the interviews in regards to Depp v. Heard, the docuseries that are done, so you can go check that out on my channel. And also I am doing a live stream on the Jonathan Majors trial. If anyone has been on my channel, I've been covering that all week. all week when it was like when it was going on. So I've got the transcript. I've got a transcript in regards to some of the testimonies, and I'm going through some today. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. I'm going through some today, sorry, and next week as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much all that's been going on. How about you, Dylan?
You got Burkhardt on. I messed Burkhardt. I asked her to DM me. People think I was trying to flirt with her. I wasn't. I was just trying to get Andrea on just to talk about Bright Kohlberger. So I spoiled that one. She won't follow me. She won't give me time. Which I don't blame her, because I did come across very creepy. To be fair, it was my fault. I came across very creepy towards her.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, the chat.
First time hearing of this.
No, the chat took the piss out of me because I've sent out a very creepy. I didn't mean it to be creepy, but it was creepy looking back at it. I was going, why did I send that to Andrea Burkhardt? I was like, oh no, because it was meant in jest, in funny, but it was quite creepy. I could put my hands up and go, yeah, that was creepy. So I don't blame her for not answering me. But she's amazing. I love Andrea. I'd love to have her on here one day. She's actually somebody I really, really admire and respect. So you getting her, well done, mate. You know, I think she's one of the respectful people out there. So yeah, I know people like fuck's sakes, you idiot. I know. My own bad. But yeah, please go watch Dr. Hines on that. He's got great guests that I can only dream of. So you know, he's amazing like that. I've got the Krieger trial coming on. Thanks for asking, Dr. Hines. That'll be next week. I'm also going to be doing, I think next Friday we'll start doing my live streams on Karen. Is it Karen Reed? That one now as well. So trying to delve into
Is that the
one.
murder trial?
Yeah. Second degree murder. She's up for. So, and
Yeah, I
obviously
think
then Matt Moore as well. So, so yeah, that's it. So with that, everybody, thank you everyone for being here. I have got to shoot off. Going out to dinner tonight. So thank you everybody for being here. Much love to you all. Thanks to Heinzie, as always, for being here. He always brings the spark. I did not give you an intro today. I just was like, there's no spot to give an intro today. I'm just going to put him on. You know, there was no spot. You have a date, Chappie? No. Hey,
you bet he has. You bet he has. He hasn't said what he's doing. So
no. I'm trying. I got a new setup on Monday. For my stream and everything. It's not a date. You have a date, Chappie. No, I'm trying to flirt with Mexi Texi, awesome voice. She's awesome. So with that, she'll hate me saying that. With that, guys, thank you very much. As always. You know, I know I need a date. I need to come out to America, and then we'll get a date sorted. With that, everybody, Frieza Roy Anderson, love you all. How old are you? 41. A young 41. Thank you, everybody. See you later. See you Monday, hopefully. Take care. Love you all. Ta-ra.